Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to New Jersey Motorsports Park and the Thunderbolt Circuit. It is the 2025 Fay Teal New Jersey Devil Majors here. I'm Greg Ginsburg, along with Brian Donati. Good afternoon, Brian.
Good afternoon, Greg.
And great to have you here. Beautiful day. Apologize, everybody, for the late start here. We had a little delay in some of the action here from New Jersey Motorsports Park, but really looking forward to a great weekend of racing here at the Thunderbolt Circuit, part of the 2025 U.S. Majors Tour, one of the qualifying events for the National Championship Runoffs. Yeah,
I tell you what, it's it's going to be a very hot day. Got to get a lot of water. Got to drink a lot of water, and we're starting to see the effects of that already. But, another thing, Greg, here before we really get started, we've seen some cars with some challenges already in qualifying. Most of it because of the heat as our cars start to roll off the grid for our first group. But I tell you what, there has been some challenges, as you mentioned.
Right. All right, so Brian, as our drivers are going to be starting their pace lap here, this is our very first run group of the day. This is our big bore, our GT racers, our super touring racers, American sedan and touring drivers. Let's do this. Let's take a quick look for those of you who've never seen the Thunderbolt Circuit here at New Jersey Motorsports Park. We'll give you a quick little overview here. It is a 12-turn course, just a little bit over 2 miles, about 2.25 miles here. Lots of elevation change, Brian.
Yes.
And a very difficult section known as the Octopus there from turn 7 through 10. Because of the way it somewhat meanders and you go from increasing radius turns to quickly decreasing radius turns, always a challenge here for our racers here. So let's do this, Brian. Also, as again our racers are on that pace lap, quickly before we run down the starting grid, let's take a look at the schedule today. 25-minute sprint races for each of our 5 run groups, which we have there at the bottom of the field. So let's take a look as we've got our racers on the pace lap. Brian, I'm going to turn things over to you here to get our grid down for this very first race group.
Yeah, we'll start from the top, from the bottom. So starting on the pole in that number 33, in that Ford Mustang, a T1 class, that's going to be Andrew Aquilante. Starting in the second position, in the number 48, another T1 machine. In that BMW M3, that's Brian Goodman. In the third position, the 08, that's going to be Kurt Resitano. He's going to be your pole sitter in T2, again in another Ford Mustang. Starting in the fourth position, in the number 73, a second in T2, that's David Sanders. That'll be in a Chevrolet Corvette. Starting in the fifth position, in that Porsche GTR 4RS, and that is going to be the number 29 of James Wilson. Starting in the sixth position, in the number 96 GT1 machine, that's Ted Zobrist in that Porsche 911 GT3 Cup car. In the seventh position, in the number 89, our first pole sitter in American sedan, that's going to be Dylan Licklider, again in another Ford Mustang. In the eighth position, in the number 46, another T2 machine, that's going to be Alan Phillips, again, in another Ford Mustang. Starting to see a theme here. In this ninth position, in the number 26, that's going to be Dominic Rizzo, again, in a Chevrolet Corvette. In the 10th position, in another Chevrolet Corvette, that's going to be Joseph Latanzi, and he'll be in the 99. In the 11th position, that's going to be the 06. That's going to be Ronald Lombardo, and he is also in a Ford Mustang as well. In the 12th position, in the number 92, that's going to be John Getzmeyer in a Chevrolet Corvette. The next position there is going to be in the 13th position. That's going to be a Pontiac Firebird in American sedan. That's the 58 of Beth Aquilante. Starting 14th in the number 90, that's Anthony Valente. Starting in the 15th position, the 94 of Philip DePippo. Starting 16th, and we'll get to the rest of them here in a minute, as it looks like our green flag is now out here, Greg, as they go through the start-finish line. Andrew Aquilante gets out, but a little bit of side-by-side there with Brian Goodman and Kurt Resitano as they cross that start-finish line and heading down into turn 1 again. It is going to be Andrew Aquilante, and then Brian Goodman is the back half of our field, Greg. They're going to go side by side, tiptoeing through there. But then that third position, that's actually going to be David Sanders in that number 73 Chevrolet Corvette.
That bright yellow Corvette, exactly.
Resitano not getting the start that he wanted when he was side by side with Brian Goodman there. He's going to fall back just a little bit in that fourth position, but look for him to move up on Kurt Resitano as they come up over the hill, down in into turn 5 for the first time. Aquilante starting to open up by about 3 car lengths over Goodman. A little bit further back here, Greg. We got a pretty big gap from Resitano all the way back to, I believe that's the 29 there, James Wilson, along with Ted Zobrist and Dylan Licklider in that number 89 machine there. Again, they're trying to battle it out going through there as well.
Yeah, as we watch them now going into the entrance of the Octopus, coming down hard onto braking into turn at number 7. You can see the compression there, Brian, as all the drivers get very close. You said great start there from the Corvette of David Sanders, moving up a position, getting ahead of Kurt Resitano. We had hoped to have some onboard video from David Sanders. I don't think we have that functioning right now.
Turning it on.
If that comes on board, we will definitely make sure to give you that as we are going through and about ready to complete our very first lap. And already we've had our lead group of 3 go by us here, and it is Andrew Aquilante, your leader in T1 already with a 1.5 seconds over Brian Goodman.
Yeah, I tell you what, we didn't get to the final end of the starting field here.
Okay.
I'll run this down here real quick because there's a little bit of something going on here that I really want to mention when we get to it. So I stopped there at after Philip DePippo, and then we had 16th Andrew Cooney, 17th Michael Reese, and then Edward Carbeck in the 39, Joseph Fagala in the 50, and then Chip Herr in the 17. Now, Chip was scheduled to run an STU in the Subaru in the number 14. That car, unfortunately, had a problem early on this morning, ended up retiring that. Chip started at the back of the field in his 2-time national runoff champion Audi. Started at the back. He has now moved his way all the way up into 13th position after 1 lap. Look for Chip Herr in that Audi to make a big run here towards the end. I know Chip, when he puts that helmet on and has to start in the back, he gives it everything he's got.
All right, and as we take a look now, Brian, Kurt Resitano in that gray 08 Mustang, he has made it around David Sanders, actually got around on the first lap. There they are now coming out of turn 11 and underneath the bridge. And very, very quick change there at the front as Resitano now has opened up a little bit over a second now on that yellow Corvette of Sanders. James Wilson leading that second group. Brian, he's 3rd in T1, but almost about 9.5 seconds back from the rest of the T1 field, currently running 1st and 2nd overall. And then Ted Zorbs in that Porsche 911 GT3 Cup car, the white 911. He is currently your leader in GT1. A bit of a surprise to see a GT1 car there, Brian, back so far from the front of the field there with the touring cars taking and going to the point.
Yeah, when they came out of turn number 12 there and went by the start-finish line there, you had Ted Zorbs and James Wilson kind of side-by-side, 2 Porsches, but you're right. You don't see that very often where they're so far back, but I think you just get the feel of this car, really kind of getting everything he can out for the most of it. Just let it run. Again, he is the only GT1 car here.
Right.
Actually, Joseph Folia in that 50 machine, a little bit further back. So Ted Zorb's in that number 96 machine, really just trying to get it dialed in.
Yeah, and we were watching for a moment there, Philip DePippo, Michael Reese, and Dwight Cooney in 3 different classes. DePippo in a Mustang, the 94 car, Reese in the, I believe, the yellow number 50, Reese in the silver number 69 Honda S2000, Dwight Cooney in the yellow 57 Ford Mustang, and Reese had gotten around, Cooney had gotten around Reese, and as we got into this tight section, going down into the Octopus, was able to get back around that yellow Mustang.
Tell you what, if we can, Greg, let's go ahead and go down into probably at this point down into turn 3. They should be coming through turn 1 now. They'll be coming over the top of the hill. There you see it right there. That is the 29, James Wilson, Dylan Licklider. Now throw Chip Herr in that Audi all the way up to 8th place after just 3 laps, starting shotgun on the field here in that 20th position. So pretty good run there by Chip right out. And that car hasn't been on track here all weekend long.
Yeah, as he comes out and he takes a quick look down to the inside underneath Licklider and Wilson going into turn 5. And, you know, of course, Chip is very accustomed to coming from the back of a field in that Audi, as he had to do both in the 2023 National Championships at VIR and almost took the win the year before coming from the back of the field as well in 2022 at VIR 2023. He took the national championship before winning last year at Road America. A little bit easier run for him last year.
I believe in 22, though, he was in the Subaru.
That is correct.
Anthony Pacelli's Subaru.
After this car had actually given him problems.
Correct. Ended up running that car. We had that rain, so again, knew that. So pretty good battle here again. That is James Wilson. Now move Chip Herr up there into that STU lead over Licklider. And then Alan Phillips still hanging tough there in that T2 machine, in that Ford Mustang. Again, Alan Phillips sitting third in T2 in that number 46 machine. So good run for Alan here. Alan's got a lot of experience here. So definitely able to keep up with those T1 cars as well as that STU Audi of Chip Herr.
All right, and we are starting to see now where Zorb's in that in the 911 areas. He just comes to our frame now, starting to really separate himself out from Wilson, Herr, Licklider in this group as they now are following through. As Herr now takes a quick look underneath James Wilson in the number 29 machine, and he gets that pass made coming through turn 5, Brian.
Yeah, it was almost as if James Wilson is holding up the rest of that group because, Greg, if you look a little bit further back, you've got Licklider, Phillips. Now throw Lombardo in there along with Joseph Latanzi in that 99. Now also the 26 there, Dominic Rizzo. So really from 6th all the way back, we'll say 7th all the way back to 12th now, that gap. Chip Herr's opening up on Wilson, but Wilson seems to be holding up that entire group there, especially coming through the Octopus here. We'll catch them coming out down underneath the bridge, but yeah, definitely closing down hard on that James Wilson number 29 machine in that Porsche GT4 RS.
Yeah, and you mentioned there in that white with blue Mustang, right in the middle of this pack, that is Ron Lombardo, a mechanical contractor out of Tuxedo Park, New York, Brian. And let's jump ahead here to turn 1 as they're coming in right now. Made his very first attempt at the National Championship Runoffs last year. Plans to go back this year as well in what is a factory Ford prepped race car. Actually, I think it gets a little help from Phoenix Performance as well.
Sure, right, exactly. Came through, was walking through the garage here this morning and this afternoon. Noticed a little bit of right rear damage on that 06 machine, but looks like they've got that thing all taped up, ready to go. So that car looks pretty good. So that car making some pretty decent time.
And good battle going on right now between James Wilson and Dylan Licklider. Wilson, again, in the T1 Porsche with Licklider, your American sedan leader. And for a moment there, Licklider had actually come underneath Wilson going into turn 5. A little bit more power, actually a lot more power from Wilson in that GT4 RS Club Sport, is able to get back around the American sedan Mustang.
Yeah. Dwight Cooney in that 57 American sedan in that yellow Ford Mustang down on pit roads. It looks like Cooney's day is going to be done a little earlier than anticipated there, but only completing 5 laps. So, again, Dwight Cooney.
Yeah, I was looking, he's out of our view there.
And Joseph Foya, we saw him earlier this morning too, had some problems. He didn't even take the green flag here. So again, hopefully Joseph can get that fixed up for tomorrow, get up and come out and run with these guys in that Group 1 tomorrow morning.
All right, starting to now stretch out a little bit behind Chip Herr. Again, Herr, your STU leader, currently running 6th overall. And if we look a little bit further back, what I'm going to do, Brian, we got a nice little battle in Touring 2 going on. This is the battle for 3rd between the 46 of, let me see if we can pick it up here. It is the 46 of Alan Phillips in the Ford Mustang, and then Joseph Latanzi in the 99 car, the Chevy Corvette. And I think we may have just seen Latanzi actually.
Well, no, they're actually in that same group there with Wilson, and that they're a little bit further back.
They are right there. All right,
so let's,
we'll try and get them there as they come down in the 7 there.
Right there.
There they are, the lead of those 3 trailing cars. So let's try and follow them and see if Latanzi has anything for Phillips here, Brian.
Well, we also got to count in. You also got to count in Dominic Rizzo. He hasn't gone away yet either. He's right there behind Latanzi. He's got about a car length and a half, a little bit further back. He seems to gain a little bit coming off some of the corners. Latanzi and Phillips gains a little bit more definitely in the octopus there. But there's your three right there. The first black Mustang along with the two Corvettes. The Mustang's got to be, this is that old school Ford Chevrolet battle here. I don't think it's going to be easily contested. Just say, go ahead, you can go by.
Exactly. All right, so Brian, as we've got about 14 minutes remaining in this race. Again, these are 25-minute timed races. Let's make a first call to the grid for our next run group. Attention in the paddock. Attention in the paddock. First call to the grid for race group number 2, Spec Racer Ford Gen 3. Please head to the grid. Spec Racer Ford Gen 3 racers, this is your first call to the grid.
Yeah, just a little bit further ahead. We've been talking about it, pretty much still. You've still got that James Wilson Licklider and Ronald Lombardo there battling. That is actually what you talked about there in T1. That is between Lombardo and Wilson. Again, you've got the Dylan Licklider in between them. That is actually the battle for the last spot on the podium in T1 as well. So we've got two battles here. When you look at T2 there, Alan Phillips there gets a little bit further ahead than he has been the entire race from Latanzi in that Chevrolet Corvette 99. But as the race starts to go on, look for Phillips probably to pull away. Again, a lot of experience here. Not sure the experience on this racetrack that Latanzi has, but I know that Phillips has a lot because his car stays here and is right outside.
Yeah, I was going to say,
right
parked
outside the
literally
racetrack.
right outside the gate here.
I think he just drove it in. There's no reason to bring a trailer or anything else.
No.
He drives it over.
Exactly.
I know when we were coming in this morning, we had, we had the 06 there, Lombardo, who had pulled out of his garage stall with some brand new stickers right in front of us. I tried to get the Ram truck to race him, but he went by me like it was nothing. So.
Of course, Brian, if you started betting in your brakes on the same path that he
maybe
takes,
that's
you might
what
have been in good shape.
I was afraid to get close to him because he was betting in his brakes.
Exactly.
And I know his brakes in that Mustang is a little bit better in my Dodge Ram there. So,
all right, I want to thank, of course, we got Charlie Abel in the chat as well as Guile the Car Guy joining us on the Washington, D.C. region YouTube channel, Brian. And this is the first time here. Want to thank everybody for joining us. We've got also now for the first time ever the South Jersey region broadcasting on their own YouTube channel. So if you're watching us on the South Jersey region YouTube channel, go ahead, go and punch that thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already, go and subscribe. And if you're on the DC channel, please do it as well. That is going to help us push SCCA majors racing and road racing to more people around the country and around the world. So thanks for joining us, everybody.
Yeah, kind of first time ever here with the New Jersey region kind of rolling that out, right? So, again, let's pick up some subscribers there, keep this thing rolling as well, along with the DC region. Go ahead and roll them all in there.
That's right.
So again, still watching that battle here, several battles here, right? That's you got the last podium spot between Wilson Lombardo with, the American sedan machine, Dylan Licklider kind of in between that, and then you still got the Phillips, Lutanzi, and Rizzo. Guile, the car guy, says Mustangs dominate, and right now it is true because our overall leader in that T1 and overall leader in this group, Andrew Aquilante in that 33 machine, Greg, he's kind of set sail. He's got a 21-second gap over second place in T1, Brian Goodman in that BMW M3. So Andrew Aquilante kind of really setting sail here. And again, another driver that's got a lot of experience here on this racetrack.
Well, and a many time, forgot at this point, 9 times?
I'd have to take my shoes off to count.
Yeah.
I don't have all my fingers.
Many-time national champion, and has jumped out to, at last check, almost a 22-second advantage over Brian Goodman and his BMW M3.
The only challenge for Andrew right now in this race, again, with that big lead, Greg, is to see whether or not when he rolls over the curbs and gets into the apex, whether or not he gets that car up on 3 or 2 wheels.
That's right.
Because he's been known to do that several times in numerous racetracks. I've actually got several photos of him up on 2 and 3 wheels.
All right, door to door here now, Brian, coming through turn 1. And I think we may have a change in position now over that, again, is that battle for third in Touring 2 here as Joseph Latanzi in the Corvette now gets around Alan Phillips.
Yeah, right now kind of going through there. They were still side by side, but they also got to look at, like I said, Dominic Rizzo not going to go away. But, Greg, with that battle going on, you also have, and we just talked about him, Andrew Aquilante. He's now in the back half of this coming up in this battle as well. So that's going to play a little havoc not only with that. He's going to be much faster. He's going to get through. Rizzo is going to go to the driver's right. Let our leader go through. Maybe he could follow him through. We could see Dominic Rizzo end up taking that and going all the way through there, but it doesn't look like he's going to get that done. But you're right, Greg. It does look like Latanzi's gotten around Alan Phillips in that position, and that would be for third place in that T2, just as you mentioned.
Indeed, and both Phillips and Latanzi end up conceding positions to our overall leader, Andrew Aquilante, as that Phoenix Performance Machine now makes it through this entire group. And there you go, Aquilante with the daytime driving lights, Brian, or perhaps, lights on for safety. Let everybody else know that a faster vehicle is coming through.
Things do appear closer in your mirror than they do, especially with him, because by the time you look in the mirror, he's already by you. So at that point, it doesn't matter. So he's definitely got it on. So with about 8 minutes left to go here in this race, Greg, not sure we maybe want to make another call to the grid if we can, because I'm not seeing anybody down there just yet.
Attention in the paddock. Second call to the grid for race group number 2. Spec Racer 4 Gen 3, please head to the grid. Spec Racer 4 Gen 3 racers, race group number 2, please head to the grid. Your race is next.
Pick up that battle coming down through there. And I tell you what, Greg, it does look like that Alan Phillips just not going to go away that easy. He is going to really get back on the back bumper of Joseph Latanzi in that number 99 machine. And as they started to come through turn 6 and turn 7 there, it starts to see a little bit more power from that Corvette.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to stick with them for the moment here and follow them through the Octopus as they are this second group of 3 coming through.
Yeah, that battle there with Wilson and Lombardo for that last podium spot on T1. Wilson has really opened it up a little bit because, again, he still has Dylan Licklider in between him and Lombardo, and it's opened up to be about 5 or 6 car lengths in there. They just go out of your shot right there. Here comes the Latanzi. And now Dominic Rizzo, as I said, don't count Dominic out here towards the end of this race. He has now gotten back by Alan Phillips in that 46 machine. So I'm wondering if Phillips' tires maybe starting to go away a little bit.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Brian, that maybe those tires are going away on him after pushing so hard here for this the first half of the race, or actually first 2/3 of the race, as we only have just about 6 minutes remaining on the clock.
Yeah, kind of really pushing it hard there. He was really trying to hold off Latanzi. Spent about 4 or 5 laps holding him off. Now, again, trying to hold off Rizzo and not able to get that done. So Phillips dropping all the way back. So move Rizzo up into that 4th position of Latanzi, and it looks like he's gaining on Latanzi as well. So it could have been for the first half, 3/4 of this race, Greg, Dominic Rizzo kind of holding on, saving his tires, knowing what he needed.
All right, so let's shift forward actually just a little bit here, Brian, as we watch now, as we move from this group here to, I think I may have just
I think they're right here.
There we go. That's where we want to be as we watch Lombardo, Licklider, and Latanzi.
Well, now, so that brings it up here, Greg. So Lombardo has gotten around Licklider.
Okay.
So now Wilson in that Porsche right there, that's the last podium spot in T1. We've been talking about it, but now Lombardo has gotten around him. So now Lombardo right on that back bumper of that Porsche in that number 29 of James Wilson. So we'll see whether or not Licklider decides to just sit back and let them go at it again. He knows that's not a battle for class for him right there. So just let them go ahead and do what they need to do. There they go. They're within half a car length right now. We'll see whether or not Lombardo can get down a little bit deeper than the 29 there. If James Wilson, Brian, doesn't look like it.
And he gets very loose going through turn 5, lost the rear end of the car, and we saw we saw there where Latanzi had to check up in order to keep from going into the back of that.
Well, no, that'd be Lickliter.
I'm sorry,
Yep.
Lickliter. Yeah, I'm still thinking
If
about
Latanzi checked up, he's got a bigger problem because he's got Dominic Rizzo on his bumper as
tail.
well.
We'll see here exactly.
Yeah.
So we're trying to follow two different battles here, and again.
Lombardo. And I think is he going to hold it? He's going. Talk about running the octopus sideways, drifting.
That's
just
right.
so he realizes we are road racing and not drifting.
Not
the
drifting.
octopus.
So the question is, Brian, do you think that maybe he has a tire down there? The way the rear end has been stepping around on him on all of the left or probably right hand turns. He gets through the final corner through turn 12 with little problem.
Let's see what he does when he gets down into turn number 1.
I think I already missed them there on the first shot.
They should be coming around right
one.
there.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
Shot. Sorry about that.
I just think he's just really trying to push it. Knew that the time was running down again with just 3.5 minutes left. Again, these guys are pretty smart. Probably have a spotter somewhere telling them how much time they got left. Again, Lickliter going to push the issue there, try to get back by Lombardo here, and I think Lombardo's just going to let him go at that point. I think you're right, Greg. I think he's just used those tires up. See, when you try to race my Dodge Ram in the morning with those stickers by the time you get in the afternoon.
That was like me coming out of the quality in this morning.
You end up losing your tires there halfway through this race. I just think he just overcooked it a little bit on that last lap and then really tried to push it through the all of the octopus there and just not able to get the car to settle down and just really broke it loose. So, again, that Porsche is going to have just a little bit more cornering better cornering than that Mustang a little bit just because of the, the ability there and the weight of that car. So I think that, again, maybe used up a little bit. Lickliter went back around, and we'll see whether or not Lombardo's going to be able to get back around him towards the end of this race. Yeah,
noticed also that Ted Zorbs had gotten around Chip Herr, Brian, dropping her back to 6th, but hers right on the back of the Porsche 911, I think, looking for a way by. Here as time is running down as we've got just a touch over 2 minutes remaining. So, Brian, let me make a third call to the grid for our next run group. Attention in the paddock. Attention the paddock. Third call for race group 2, Spec Racer 4 Gen 3. Please head to the grid. Spec Racer 4 Gen 3 racers. This is your third call to the grid. All right, so Brian, and again, not a battle in class there, but it does look like, it does look as though Lombardo is starting to make up a little bit of ground on Lickliter. They're starting to close things up on him a little bit. Maybe got the tires back underneath the car, but Lickliter also kind of just hounding the blue Porsche of James Wilson, that number 29 machine.
Yep. It looks like we're going to get the one to go right here for our Andrew Aquilante. As now he's going by Chip Herr. So put Chip Herr now a lap down in that 17. You don't see that very much here, especially on this racetrack. Chip's pretty dominant here on this racetrack as well. So
when Aquilante is lapping at a 21.8. And Chip Herr, who again is sitting 6th overall, in a much less powerful car, at a 26 and change.
3 seconds faster per lap on that lap there. So yeah, I guess you could see that.
And we'll follow these two through, and we'll follow here Andrew Aquilante. I haven't given him a lot of screen time other than on that first lap. We'll give him a little bit of love here on the final lap, Brian.
Yeah, this is going to be the final one, so we'll pick him up. I tell you what, Greg, let's go. I'm going to talk about it. You can keep it here with that. But Latanzi and Dominic Rizzo. Now, Latanzi's gotten back by Rizzo and kind of opened that up to almost 1.4 seconds. So
as we're watching him come under our view right there.
That's Gatzmeyer right there.
Gatzmeyer.
Yep. Along with Kurt Resitano and then Ted Zorbs in that 96 just going by as well. So.
All right, there you go. Headlights on again for safety with our leader, Andrew Aquilante, as he comes out of the final corner onto the front straight.
Hand out the window.
And checkered flag in the air, taking the overall win and the win today in Touring 1 over Brian Goodman. It is Andrew Aquilante. Now let's try and pick up that BMW. Oops, let's come back here. Have we seen? Because he was on at last check, Brian.
Well,
about
here
20
comes
seconds
here
behind.
comes the Wilson. Here comes the Lombardo. So again, that's going to put Wilson in third. Brian Goodman definitely has already gone by. Wilson's going to finish in third in T1. Lombardo is going to end up finishing fourth in T1. Latanzi's going to finish third over Dominic Rizzo.
And actually, here comes Brian Goodman right now, Brian, out of the final corner onto the front straight. And as that BMW comes across the line, margin of victory now we can tell between Andrew Aquilante and Brian Goodman over 50 seconds. So it's going to be Aquilante, Goodman, Wilson, your top three in Touring 1. In STU, Chip Herr will take the win over Michael Reese, who finishes a lap down. In American Sedan, Dylan Licklider will take the win over Beth Aquilante in her Pontiac Firebird. Dwight Cooney in his Ford Mustang will finish in third. In Touring 2, it is Kurt Resitano with almost 10 seconds on David Sanders, with Joseph Latanzi in that number 99 Chevy Corvette finishing in third. And then Touring 3, Philip DePippo takes the win in class. Ed Karabek in his BMW 330, Brian, unfortunately, is going to finish 6 laps down. And then finally, as we mentioned here in GT1, Ted Zorbs, the only driver running at the finish, is Joe Folia did not make the grid today.
And Ted taking an extra lap, so 96 taking 2 checkered flags.
You can never have enough. You can never have enough, Brian.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do this. Let's make a final call to the grid for our next group, and then we'll take a little break.
Yep.
Attention in the paddock. Attention in the paddock. Final call for Race Group 2, Spec Racer 4 Gen 3. Please head to the grid. Spec Racer 4 Gen 3 racers, please head to the grid. And with that, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in a few moments with more racing action here from New Jersey Motorsports Park. It's the Fay Teal Memorial Jersey Devil Majors. We'll be right back.
What does it take to be America's largest Corvette dealer? At Ciocca, it starts with our premier selection of new and certified Corvettes on the lot or custom ordered, with new vehicles arriving every day. Add in the country's most experienced team of specialists to help you find the perfect ride, along with the confidence that you're doing business with a company that shares your passion for excellence. Find out more at CioccaCorvette.com, or better yet,
come to America's largest Corvette dealership, Ciocca Corvette in Atlantic City.
Looking to level up your motorsport game? At Courage Motorsport, we've got everything you need, from high-performance parts, tires, and safety gear, to car rentals, expert driving instruction, and even our own Courage racing gear. Whether you're a beginner, a pro, or looking to kickstart your motorsport career with training in both the business of racing and securing sponsorships, we've got you covered. Check out our gear, grab a shirt, and represent your passion. Email us at trackready@couragemotorsport.com or visit couragemotorsport.com and get ready to hit the track.
Cornerstone Financial Advisors is a family-owned and operated full-service financial planning firm in Haddon Heights, New Jersey. Advising clients throughout the country for over 33 years, certified financial planners Michael and Shauna Lamena offer a comprehensive financial planning service, including retirement investment, life insurance, and estate planning to both individuals and businesses. Every plan is detailed and specifically tailored to either the business owner or the individuals they specialize in, putting you on the right track. Give them a call for a free, no-obligation consultation at 856-546-6505 or visit them on the web at cornerstonecfp.com. That's cornerstonecfp.com.
Willing and Able Racing offers top-quality spec race car rentals with full setup and repair services, including trackside support for SCCA, NASA, VRG, and other organizations' road race, time trials, and track day events. Their spec racer Ford specialists and each of their Gen 3 machines sports a SATAV sequential transmission and a data acquisition system. Also offering spec Miata rentals, Willing and Able is currently taking reservations for the remainder of the Mid-Atlantic Road Racing Series season. For more information, email Willing and Able at rent@wnaracing.com, see them on Instagram at WNA Racing, or visit their website at WNARacing.com. Willing and Able would like to thank all the volunteers this weekend who've graciously donated their time so that we may race.
That's my shit.
And welcome back to New Jersey Motorsports Park. It's the Fay Teal Memorial Jersey Devil Majors presented by the South Jersey region of the SCCA. And, of course, we'd like to thank our broadcast partners, WNA Racing and Courage Motorsport, who helped make this broadcast possible on the South Jersey region and Washington, D.C. region YouTube channel. So, Brian, next up is going to be Spec Racer Ford Gen 3, these identically prepared tube frame sports racers powered by, well, obviously, Ford 1.6-liter motors. They're leaving the pit lane now for their pace lap. Let's start down with the starting grid.
All right, starting on the pole in the number 130, that's going to be Mac Harrison. Starting in this second position, the 32 of Steven Samet. Starting in the third position, the number 2, the old fireball himself, that's Max King. Starting in the fourth position, the 111 of Bruce Myers. Starting in the fifth position, the number 56 of Jason Pintar. Starting in the sixth position, the 117 of Jeffrey Lerner. Starting in the seventh position, the number 38, that's Dave Dickerson. Starting in the eighth position, the number 55 of Sam Schechter. Starting in the ninth position, the number 99, that's Stephen Minkin. Starting in the 10th position, that's Jeffrey Valentino, and he'll be in the 68. Starting in the 11th position, the 06 of Ryan Harrison. Starting in the 12th position, the number 9, that's Mike Anderson. Starting in the 13th position, the number 25 of Kyle Robertson. Starting in the 14th position, that's Stephen Shue, and he'll be in the 81. Starting in the 15th position, the number 54, that's Mike Thomas. Starting in the 16th position, that's in the 51, that's Liam Kerper. Starting in the 17th position, that's Thomas Riley, and he'll be in the number 11. Starting in the 18th position, that's James Rouse, and he'll be in the 15. Starting in the 19th position, that's the number 30 of Stephen Thomas. Starting in the 20th position, that's the 57 of Donald Privet. Starting in the 21st position, the 01 of Chris Current. Starting in the 22nd position, the 0 of Richard Herman. Starting in the 23rd position, a little bit further back than he wanted to, Greg, that's the number 8, that's Michael LaMena. Starting in the 24th position, that's Bill Watt, and he's in the 66. Starting in the 25th position, that's Kenneth Riley in the 47. Starting in the 26th position, that's Dan Iacovelli, and he'll be in the 18. And starting 27th, and that's J. Mark Wendling, and he'll be in the number 3.
All right, there you go. Big field here in Spec Racer 4 Gen 3. Always an exciting race, Brian. And, these, besides many of these racers having many years behind the wheels of these machines, as we mentioned, 1.6-liter aluminum block Ford motors, most of them now with a SADEV sequential 6-speed transmission. There may be still a few H-pattern boxes in the field here for folks that don't typically run in the major series and run regional series like the Mid-Atlantic Road Racing Series or the Northeast Division Road Racing Championship, but always very tight, close racing.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's you're going to see some pretty good battles here. Again, some of these drivers starting a little bit further back, Greg, than they wanted to. Again, Liam Kerper ran, over on the Lightning Bolt, kind of gave it a pretty good run the entire time. And so, a little bit further back, no, he's not run here on the Thunderbolt as well. So he's never run here. So again, a little bit further back, you look for him to make a move. All
right, Brian, so lights are out on the pace car, and we should be going green this time by with Mac Harrison coming off pretty decent run a couple weeks ago at Watkins Glen International. Of course, we saw him earlier in the year on the Super Tour as well. He and Sam Schechter always seem to be in very close proximity. I'm amazed that there are actually 6 cars that are separating those two racers right now.
Yeah, I tell you what, don't look for that to last too long here either.
All right, pace car is on the pit lane, turning things over to Mac Harrison in that gray 130 machine with Steven Samet to his left as they start to rev their engines, and green flag is in the air, Brian, and still some dust clouds from that oil drive that was put down before our very first race here today. Here as jumping out to an early lead is Schechter, with Samet dropping in behind. Max King in that white number 2 machine sliding in right behind, as we like to say, the Max King, the elder king in the family here.
The old fireball himself.
Exactly.
It's kind of an inside joke. Those will know what we're talking about here. But I tell you what, Mac Harrison getting a run there on Steven Samet down into turn number 1. Max really had to just sit back and let that go. It filter itself out a little bit. Then you got to throw in Bruce Myers. We got one car. That looks like the 06 machine. That is actually going to be Ryan Harrison that's gone off there. I guess he didn't realize there was a turn there, because I know he had a car side by side. Really kind of missed the entry there. So make that turn, get it in there. Now he's back underway. So again, looks like he's going to be a little bit further back. Ryan Harrison's got his work cut out for him.
Yeah, indeed. As he was running 10th at the time, he's going to drop at least 16 positions, Brian, now all the way to the back of the field, as Sam Schechter now is leading that field through the S's there over at turn 11.
It's Mac Harrison.
Did I say Mac? I'm sorry, Mac
We're
Harrison.
We're so used to seeing Mac and Sam together. It's kind of like mac and cheese, right? They're always close together. Sam a little bit further back again. A lot of this, Greg, has to do with the heat that's in this racetrack right here. There's some guys that came a little bit. I walked around the garage this morning, walked around the paddock, was talking to some people. They've made some major changes to their cars that they didn't think they were going to make throughout the day. Even yesterday during some practice runs, and then even today during qualifying, it seems things changed from the first qualifying session to the second qualifying session.
And Brian Samet taking a look to the outside of our pole sitter, Mac Harrison, as they come through. That was going into turn 4, and it looks like he may have gotten that pass made as they come out of turn 5 as Max King just sits, well, not idly by, but sits and watches as that happens directly in front of him. Now, as they come down into turn 7 and into that very difficult octopus for the first time with their tires possibly up to temperature, the Spec Hoosier tires that they're all running. And I think, Brian, the big difference that we're seeing here and why these drivers may have had to make pretty substantial changes to their setup as the morning wore on, as they went from slightly cooler temperatures during the morning qualifying to the afternoon qualifying, is that this track is very different from what we saw a year ago. When we came here last year, Brian, it was right off of a brand new repave of the surface here, and there was a lot of grip really regardless of what the temperature conditions were.
Right.
But we're seeing now where it does absolutely start to get very greasy as the day goes on. We saw that with a lot of racers yesterday that came out for the test day.
Yeah. You talk about, going down in the octopus, and we showed kind of the overhead when we first came on the air, and that is in these cars here, you can get a little bit more throttle. When we saw our first group, it's a lot of letting the car rotate a lot more and having to wait on the throttle before you pick it up. Here, they can do it a little bit more with the throttle in order to work the car to get it to turn through some of those tight turns down in there. So look for these guys to, while they may seem a little bit spread out and a little bit, nose to tail right now, as this race goes on, Greg, look for that to really close down.
Exactly. And a matter of fact, as you mentioned that, Brian, as we saw for a moment, a little bit of a breakaway between with the top 3 drivers of Samet, Harrison, and Max King, you see under braking, under compression going into turn 7, they close up just a little bit. Should mention that Sam Schechter in that baby blue number 55 machine, he just ran the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah.
And again, only on lap number 2, but he's also got that draft there with Jason Pintar in that Gulf livery number 56 directly behind. Watch for those two to maybe work together and try and close things down on Jeffrey Lehner ahead.
Yeah, I think if Sam makes that move as they get down into turn number 1 and a little bit further back, and if we keep this shot right here, Greg, this is exactly what I was talking about. This goes all the way back to Mike Thomas, Donald Privet, Thomas Riley, Stephen Thomas. They're all right there in those red machines kind of going through. They'll be coming down here, down into turn 1 there. Now you got to throw in Mike LaMena in that number 8 as well, I believe. So
and LaMena kind of sticks out with the only blue with the fluorescent green right there in a whole sea of red cars. We've got one driver who just went a little bit wide through turn at number 3.
That may have been Mike because he likes to do that in that turn.
Absolutely,
So.
he does.
But I tell you what, Greg. Again, we were just talking about this. Even though some of these cars are single file now, they won't be at the end. This is where they're trying to really set the pace and really get in there. As that stuff starts to spread out, looks like we may have a car off somewhere down in turn number 6. Greg. We'll have to see who that was.
And actually, that's in that area right now that we're looking at all the way as far away as we could possibly get from our cameras. We'll try and get the number here for you.
I'm hearing the 01.
That's
that
Chris
may be Chris
Current.
Current.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, Chris Current was the chief steward for the Watkins Glen Super Tour just a few weeks ago. Actually, no, I'm sorry, he was chairman of the SOM just a few weeks ago. I had some very nice conversations with Chris as he now gets back into his race car and is trying to qualify himself. Brian, as we're going to a full course caution now here at New Jersey Motorsports Park's Thunderbolt circuit.
Yeah, and Mac Harrison just set the fastest lap on that lap before. They're probably just now coming up over the hill out of turn number 3 and 4 down the bottom. So they'll be coming down into that far left-hand turn there. So again,
and actually just ahead of this shot now. We'll try and catch
right
them
there.
Right
there they are right there. So Mac Harrison, Steven Salmon, Max King, Bruce Myers, Jeffrey Lerner, Jason Pintar, Sam Schechter. That's your top 7. Dickerson, Valentino, Minka, and that's your top 10 right there. So again, Greg, this little bit of a break for the top leaders. Again, you still got to keep the heat in those tires, even though we talked about as warm as it is out here and as slick as it's getting. you've got to keep those up. And again, it's going to depend on how long it takes to get that Chris Current machine moved, as to how long we will be in this full course caution here. Pace cars should be picking up the leaders here as they get ready to come through the Octopus now. They'll be coming up over top of that hill, and I believe the pace car will pick them up.
All right. So as Matt Harrison is bringing the field now through the Octopus, the safety car will pick up the field on the exit of turn 1 because it has to come all the way down the pit lane and pick them up there. But we can see also here where Matt Harrison has started to slow the field down to essentially act as the safety car now as they come underneath the bridge, and they're starting to bunch up, and we want the field as close and as bunched up as possible so our emergency services teams can work that incident and get the 0-1 machine cleared out as quickly as possible.
Yep.
All right, so again, we are working here under full course caution. These are 25-minute timed races. And now we will see here as Mac Harrison brings the field through turn 1. Now, I don't see the safety car, but we'll see if... Oh, the safety car, Brian. Let's move over to our next corner.
Yeah, he's already out there.
He's waiting patiently.
Yeah, that safety car, when I looked out the window, saw him take off kind of a little bit. And again, that Corvette, that Ciocca Corvette, that's got some pretty good power on there. As actually, the other one has some good towing capacity as well.
I was going to say, so
the white one.
The safety car here provided by Ciocca Corvette, one of the South Jersey region's sponsors, one of the 2 safety cars that they have here. And so we were delayed a little bit in getting racing underway as our last qualifying session had a couple of racers with some engine issues, and we saw something that we had never seen before, Brian, is that we actually saw one of the 2 Corvette safety cars act as a tow vehicle, basically the emergency services vehicle, and tow that car back to the paddock.
If you want to see that picture, go ahead and follow me on Facebook at some point in time today, because as soon as we're done, I will post that, and I think the caption will be, not something you see every day.
No, certainly not. So we know that Ciocca Corvette, as part of their summer specials, will be selling tow vehicles. It's the special trailer towing package for those C8 Corvettes.
I was like, can I get the new C8 with a nice towing package added onto it, right?
Exactly.
20-inch tires.
All right, so Brian, we're just about 10 minutes into this race. We've got about 15 minutes remaining. Let me make a first call to the grid for our next race group. Attention in the paddock, attention in the paddock. First call to the grid for race group number 3. That's small bore production, B-SPEC, STL, and Touring 4. Please head to the grid. Race group number 3, B-SPEC, E production, F production, H production, Super Touring Light, and Touring 4. Please head to the grid. Your race is next.
So, Greg, I'm not sure. I didn't see on the safety car right now. It looks like the lights may be out on that. I didn't hear over the radio when we were making that announcement up, and he's still got his flashers on.
So lights are still on.
Yeah, lights are still on, so it looks like we're going to go around one more time. When I first looked at it, it didn't seem like they were on, so I thought maybe he would be coming in, but definitely not coming in this time. So it looks like we are going to go one more lap.
I'm sorry.
So really, here's, from a driver perspective, Greg, you've been in this position. A lot of these other drivers out here have been in this position. Your car's not handling right. Now, unfortunately, you have the full course caution. So, we've got to regroup as a driver. You got to regroup to understand what your car's doing. Look for some of these drivers now, knowing that this could happen at any given time. Look for them as we're getting to the back half and the halfway point of this race. It's time to start making a move. It's definitely, even though it's 25 minutes, it's definitely going. You've got to start making that move if you want to move up in this field, because this is some pretty good talent of drivers in this class out here this weekend. So it's going to be tough. It's one thing to get up to somebody. You were talking about Sam Schechter moving all the way up to 6th right now. Again, from his starting spot back in 8th. But just to get there, now you got to get by him. You got to work by to get by that somebody. And in this class, and we'll talk about it a little bit when we get to our Spec Miatas, you have to have some type of a partner. You got to have a draft, depending on where you want to make that pass, unless the car in front of you is having problems getting through some of those corners.
Well, the advantage that almost every one of these racers have right now, Brian, is this full course caution.
Yep.
So it closed things down. It's going to make it much easier, at least initially, to find a drafting partner here as we restart. And again, all of our races today, they are timed races, 25 minutes, not based on laps.
Yep.
Tomorrow going to be much, much different, however, if we take a look at this schedule. Tomorrow, with one exception that we'll point out here, all of our races tomorrow are going to be 22 laps or 45 minutes, so almost 20 minutes, up to 20 minutes longer than those races today. The one exception is going to be for our open wheel racers tomorrow. I believe is only going to be 20 laps.
Correct.
And because what we found during testing yesterday is that we had racers, when they had a session that was long, they didn't think that they would actually be able to put enough fuel in to get to the end.
It's better to run with a little bit of caution there,
right.
At that point, in order to do that, so that we don't have cars running out of fuel on the racetrack, having to go to a full course caution, and then go back out and pick those up.
Indeed. All right, so safety car for the moment still has the lights on. We'll hopefully get some information here in just a few moments. If the lights are going to be extinguished, Brian, it'll happen towards the tail end of the octopus here.
Well, that incident is just out of the camera view down there, too. So it's right outside, and we still got some safety equipment down there. We have the tow truck down there pulling Chris Kern. So we're going to have to see. Looks like they're starting to hook that car up now. So hopefully within a lap, we'll be able to get him. Our safety car now is just now coming up, getting ready to come up underneath the bridge. As I look out there, it looks like the tow truck is starting to leave. Looks like everybody's just starting to gather the equipment they had.
Yep.
And hopefully within a lap we can go back here.
Yeah. So now, as you said, the safety car just now approaching the bridge and coming onto the front straight.
And with that car, they won't have to go all the way around the racetrack. There's a cutout there that they'll be able to pick up and cut through and bring it in through the back door there. It looks like all of our safety vehicles are now moving. So it does look like that we potentially could be, this would be the last lap. Next time by, we could be going green. Greg, some of these, again, I talked about, the talent that's in here, in this group right here. We talked about Liam Kerper in that number 51 machine, again, starting a little bit further back in 16th, never running this racetrack until this weekend.
Oh, really?
It was a good thing somebody else got that car off the trailer. He's not very good at that, from what we understand, talking to his dad and everybody down there with the team. But, again, only picked up 2 positions, right? So, again, working really hard to do that. We talked about Sam Schechter. Sam starting out in the 8th position, only picking up right now 2 positions. So, again, that's really the biggest movers of the race right now. Stephen Shue back 1 spot up 1 spot.
Yeah, up to 13th. I was going to mention Shue, who was our was the 2016 Mid-Atlantic Road Racing Series Spec Racer Ford champion. Came up here in his Surf Shop Spec Racer Ford to race here at the majors, and I'm sure he expected to maybe be a little bit further up in the order right now. We know Steven sometimes has some issues on the opening laps, and that got shuffled back a little bit from that start.
Yeah, again, Dave Dickerson back 1 spot, 7th to 8th. Jason Pintar from 5th all the way back now to 7th. So, again, you can see really what it takes with these drivers. It is very hard to get around some of these drivers with the talent and with the experience that they have on here. As we're safety car getting ready to come down through the octopus now, Greg. So I look for lights to be out. We should be getting back to green flag racing here. And again, you're probably going to have just right around 8 minutes to go. So it's going to be time to make that move.
It's going to be a heck of a sprint. All right, so real quick, Brian, and I think the lights are out on the safety car. Let me make another call to the grid for our next group. Attention in the paddock. Second call for race group number 3. E Production, F Production, H Production, STL, Touring 4, and B-SPEC racers, please head to the grid. Race group number 3. This is your second call to the grid. As the safety car now brings the field through turn 11. And, Brian, it does appear as though the lights are out on the safety car. Our leader at the moment, Mac Harrison, in that gray number 130 machine. He's starting to back up a little bit from the safety car, starting to compress things down as the safety car now heads to the pit lane. And green flag should be out in a moment. Again, racers cannot go until the green flag appears. And it is in the air, Brian, and we're already starting to see some racers start to fan out, try to take advantage of others' misfortune. One of those is Sam Schechter. Took a look to Jeffrey Lehner's, came around the outside, driver's right of Jeffrey Lehner. We may have a new fifth-place racer here.
I tell you what, Bruce Myers in that 111 got a great run right on Max King there on the start. But I tell you what, Greg, the driver that got the start, we saw him spin earlier on, really starting to fight his way back. Ryan Harrison in that 06, he went 3, almost 4 wide on the start, going down past the start-finish line to try to get himself into position to work his way back up at least into that top 15.
All right, and it looks like Steven Shue may have lost another position. Shue's in that green and white number 81 machine, and it looks like he may have lost a position to Liam Kerper in the black number 51 WNA racing machine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that car really, really quick. Pretty much everywhere it goes with Liam. Again, another young up-and-coming driver, very tall driver. So, definitely got what it takes to run these, and that car has been very stout all year long. Again, I said, with the beginning, would never run here before. Look for Liam to make some moves later in this race as we do it. As now Mac Harrison going to open up by about 2 car lengths over Steven Samet. Max King, Bruce Myers, while he got that start, Max was able to hook on that back bumper, that back gearbox really of Steven Samet, pull back in front. Jeffrey Lerner in that 117 a little bit further back there, but he's got Sam Schechter and Jason Pintar right there on those back gearboxes, and then another car length back to David Dickerson in that number 38 machine.
All right, and running wide and almost dropping a wheel there is Mac Harrison. Gathers it back up at the last moment, Brian, but we do have another driver that has gone off on the outside of turn 1 as he goes out of our view. We'll try and get that number in just a moment. And it looks like he's started just started to come back into our view as I switch cameras there, but we'll try and get that number.
I think I don't know if that was the 56 there of Pintar or not. We'll hear it. We're going to get the call right now.
And that was 57. The 57 machine.
That's
Brian,
Donald Privet.
Privet, yeah.
So pretty much the same livery between Privet and Pintar. So, again, apologize to all you Pintar fans, but it looked like that's who it was, but definitely 57 Donald Privet.
And I think we're going to have some major changes here in the running order, Brian, as I'm seeing now a number of racers have gone off as well. Looks like the 16 machine has had some issues as well as he now recovers and gets back underway. As Harrison now leads the field toward, actually that is Samet now, our new leader.
Samet and Max King have gotten around Mac Harrison. Now it looks like you're going to see as they head down into turn 1, it looks like Max King's going to pull out with the help of Mac Harrison. Remember, we talked about this, Greg, you got to have help to make passes. Definitely on the straightaway. There, Max King, the old man, throwing back out in front right now in that number 2 machine, and with the help of Mac Harrison in that 130.
Of course, Mac, when we say Max King is the old man, he's what now? Probably like 26, 27. Oh, we got another driver running a little bit wide, coming out of 3, trying to open up that corner, trying to carry him. We're seeing that was Steven Shue again in the that green and white number 81.
Again, really pushing the issue with these cars right now, Greg, because they know with just under 3.5 minutes left to go, it is go time.
Yeah, they've got possibly 3 laps remaining, including this one here, Brian, as Max King leads the field now through turn 6. and into the Octopus here as we're working lap number 11.
And that was actually not Steven Shue going off. That was the 06 of Ryan Harrison. So Ryan Harrison really, really working hard in that 06 machine, pushing everything he's got to the limit to try and get back up into the position of where he was at the beginning when he ended up spinning down there in turn number 5. But your overall leader here, Max King, holding off right now Mac Harrison by about a car length and a half as they get ready to come up underneath the bridge, and then a little bit further back, that's going to be Steven Samet. Bruce Myers kind of sitting there watching all this happen, but then you've got Sam Schechter, Jason Pintar. They're going to be nose to tail right there going past your screen, past the start-finish line. Look for them to gain some speed and kind of catch that 117 of Lerner as they come down into turn number 1. Jeffrey Lerner could be the sitting duck there, Greg, as they get ready to go with just under 2.5 minutes left.
Yeah, indeed, and we've got Bruce Myers in that orangish number 111 machine kind of hanging on to the back of our top 3 for the moment, Brian. But he's starting to come under attack here by Jeffrey Lehner in the 117 machine as well. And then they've got a little bit of clearance back to Schechter in that light blue 55 and Pintar in the light blue, the Gulf liveried 56 machine.
Yeah, they kind of split apart there. When they went by the start-finish line, they were kind of really nose to tail, and you can see it looks like Schechter was able to get through turn 1 and turn 2 a little bit better than Jason Pintar. So, again, broke that train up a little bit for that draft, so that allowed Lehner and Bruce Myers to pull a little bit further. And now it looks like Myers is going to be under attack here by that Jeffrey Lehner machine, Greg, as you talked about, and then Sam Schechter trying to get right in there as well. Looks like they may be leaving Jason Pintar, if that can happen through there.
All right, Brian, and we are getting word to go. 2 more laps remain here at New Jersey Motorsports Park for our Spec Racer Ford racers, where it is Max King, your leader. Mac Harrison, who just turned the fastest lap, Brian, gets back around Steven Samet. And Harrison now picking right up to the back of our leader as we've got a heck of a battle right now between Myers and Lehner directly behind.
Yeah, along with Sam Schechter. Throw Sam Schechter, and we've got one car that kind of went off through there again, Greg. We'll have to see which car that was, but I tell you what, that was a really tight spot there. Everybody fighting for that one battle going down through there. There you can see Schechter. He's gotten around Myers and Lehner a little bit further. Actually, Lehner is ahead of him, but Schechter's gotten around Bruce Myers there to move him up a couple spots.
Yeah, so move Schechter now up in the 5th position, Brian. And we're still waiting to hear, get the number on the driver that went off track. It might have been Mincon in the 99 based on where they all were. Again, we'll try and get that number in just a moment.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, there was a battle there. All 4 or 5 cars there kind of converging onto each other. As our leader now coming out of turn number 12, or actually getting ready to come up underneath the bridge heading into turn number 12. Got about a car length lead over Mac Harrison. But, Greg, as you just mentioned, last time by, Mac Harrison set the fastest lap. We'll see whether or not he moves back just a little bit to allow Steven Samet to get to him. Again, you've got to have some draft to make some passes. I wouldn't put it past Mac Harrison to do that, to allow Steven Samet to push him up, up to Max King.
All right, as they come through turn 1, just a little bit less than 2.25 miles remain, and about a car length and a half separate our top 3 racers as we work our final lap. And Brian, just when he needed to do it, Max King turned in a new fast lap and opened up the gap to Harrison by about 0.4 of a second here. But we see now coming into turn 4, Harrison has closed things down once again, and he is right there, right locked to the gearbox of that white number 2 of Max King. Now we'll see Max's younger brother Jake a little bit later in our open wheel race, actually 2 races from now, as he races in Formula Ford. But right now it is Spec Racer Ford. And Brian, what a great look there from Mac Harrison. Tried to come underneath Max King going into turn number 7, and King just shut the door on him.
Yeah. One of the things you got to remember is not only is it that you really want to win, but you want to set a fast time. Even though these guys went through 2 qualifying sessions, Greg, you also can move up based off of times from here too. So again, for tomorrow's 22-lap race. So again, as our leader now comes out, Max King getting ready to come down underneath the bridge, out into down to the start-finish line. Max King's going to hold off Mac Harrison, Steven Salmon, and then a little bit further back, you got to go almost 15, 20 car lengths back, Greg, to get to Jeffrey Lehner and then Sam Schechter, which is going to round out your top 5.
There you go. And Jason Pintar goes and gets around Bruce Myers on that last lap as well. So great run there for the number 56 machine. Mincon finishes in 8th. Kyle Robertson will finish in 9th position. Mike Anderson will round out your top 10. And as I look through, I'm trying to pick out who it might have been that had fallen back.
Well, I think Donald Privet was one we saw, but I tell you what,
Yeah.
Greg, just coming across the start-finish line, who we saw up a little bit kind of in that top 10 was Steven Shue. He's moved all the way back down. I think there was some
19th.
contact between him and Liam Kerper because Liam Kerper dropped all the way down to 24th.
Wow. So, yeah, big issue there for those two racers. As we saw Kerper again in the top 10. Shue at one point had worked his way up to 13th position. It looked like he lost a number of positions on the restart. But great battle there. And congratulations to Max King, our winner for race number 1 here at the Fay Teal Memorial Jersey Devil Majors in Spec Racer Ford Gen 3. So let's do this, Brian. Let's make a final call to the grid for our next group, and then we'll take a little break. Attention in the paddock. Final call to the grid for race group number 3. That is B-SPEC, E Production, F Production, H Production, STL, and Touring 4. Please head to the grid. This is your final call. Race group number 3, Small Bore Production, B-SPEC, STL, and T4. This is your final call to the grid. And with that, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back here in just a few moments with more racing action from New Jersey Motorsports Park's Thunderbolt circuit. Please stay with us.
Located right next door to the racetrack in Millville's Executive Airport Complex, the Glasstown Brewing Company has been the place to celebrate race wins with a cold one since 2013. As the only microbrewery here in Cumberland County, Glasstown cans and kegs close to 20 different beers on a rotating basis. Share a flight with friends inside or outside at one of the many picnic tables where the history of flight is just feet away. And don't forget to buy a 6-pack or a growler for the house. Glasstown is open Tuesday and Wednesday from 2 until 8, Thursday through Saturday from noon until 9, and Sunday from noon until 7. To find out more, visit their website at glasstownbrewery.com or on Instagram at Glasstown Brewing.
Willing and Able Racing offers top-quality spec race car rentals with full setup and repair services, including trackside support for SCCA, NASA, VRG, and other organizations' road race, time trials, and track day events. Their Spec Racer Ford specialists and each of their Gen 3 machines sports a SATAV sequential transmission and a data acquisition system. Also offering Spec Miata rentals, Willing and Able is currently taking reservations for the remainder of the Mid-Atlantic Road Racing Series season. For more information, email Willing and Able at rent@WNARacing.com, see them on Instagram at WNA Racing, or visit their website at WNARacing.com. Willing and Able would like to thank all the volunteers this weekend who've graciously donated their time so that we may race.
Looking to level up your motorsport game? At Courage Motorsport, we've got everything you need, from high-performance parts, tires, and safety gear, to car rentals, expert driving instruction, and even our own Courage racing gear. Whether you're a beginner, a pro, or looking to kickstart your motorsport career with training in both the business of racing and securing sponsorships, we've got you covered. Check out our gear, grab a shirt, and represent your passion. Email us at trackready@couragemotorsport.com or visit couragemotorsport.com and get ready to hit the track.
Picture your perfect garage. How many cars are in there? Great, great. Now picture reality. How many cars can you actually have? Me too. With SCCA Club Spec, one car becomes your daily, your track car, your autocross car, even your time trials car. S197 Mustang if you like V8s and torque, NC Miata if you like compact and agile. SCCA Club Spec, spirited dailies, competitive race cars. Learn more at scca.com.
Welcome back to Summit Point. Summit Point? Where are we, Brian? We are we are trying to battle old habits. Welcome back to New Jersey Motorsports Park's Thunderbolt Circuit. It is the 2025 edition of the Fay Teal Memorial Jersey Devil Majors, part of the 2025 U.S. Majors Tour. I'm Greg Ginsberg, the guy who can't remember where the heck we are. He's Brian Donati, who
I know where I am.
You know, he knows where he is at all times during the day, and we are glad to have you along with us. Brian, next up, our third race of the day. This is going to be for our small bore production classes, E production, F production, and H production, our B-SPEC racers, as well as Super Touring Light and Touring 4. Why don't we run down the starting order?
Yeah, starting on the pole in that E production vehicle, that's the number 95 in that Mazda RX-7. That is going to be John Hainsworth. Starting second in the number 37 in his STL, that's Nick Leveroni in that Mazda Miata. Starting in the third position in the number 32, another STL, that's Deacon Greenfield in that Honda CRX. Starting in the fourth position in a Triumph GT6, that's the number 44 in an E production, that's Anthony Parker.
That's a beautiful car, by
yes,
the way,
it is.
Brian.
Absolutely. I got a good shot of that this morning.
Saw it at Watkins Glen also. It is a
Yes.
fast, well-built machine.
Starting in the fifth position in the number 34, another STL. That's Thomas Polino in another Mazda Miata. Starting in the sixth position, the number 97 in the T4 in that Toyota number 86, Toyota 86. That is Chip Herr. Starting in the seventh position in the number 90, another T4. That's Kevin Fryer in a Mazda Miata. Starting in the eighth position, that's Brad Childs in a T4 machine. The number 87 in a Mazda Miata.
Dude, bro.
Starting in the ninth position, the number 23, another STL. That is Greg Bogart in another Mazda Miata. Starting in the 10th position. Here we go. Now we don't have a Mazda Miata.
Oh, thanks.
Starting in the 10th position in that number 11, that's Eric Benazik.
And
that
he's your
is in a
H-production
Honda
pole
Civic
sitter.
in an H product in your pole sitter.
Yeah.
Starting in the 11th position, the number 123, that's Brian Hune in another STL Mazda Miata. Starting in the 12th position is the number 76, that's Warren Sackman in a Mazda Miata. Starting in the 13th position, the number 33, that's Oliver Lucier in a T4 machine in a Porsche Boxster. Starting in the 14th position, number 8 of Laurent Frumax, and that is a Lotus 7, Greg, at F production. Starting in the 15th position in the 08, Matthew Benazik in a Honda Civic, and that's in H production as well. Starting in the 16th position, the 150 in an F production, that's Tom Burge in a Mazda Miata. Scheduled to start 17th, and this is, we know for a fact that this motor has expired for the weekend. That is the number 5 of Tom Broering. In H production, that was a Toyota Yaris. Starting in the 18th position, in the number 24, another T4 machine, that's Alex Cumming in a Mazda RX-8. Starting in the 19th position and on the pole in B-SPEC, that's the number 98 of Dan Conway in a Mazda 2. Scheduled to start 20th in the number 36. That was Robert Ahern Jr. in another Mazda 2, but we also know that motor has expired on the car this afternoon in the second round of qualifying. Scheduled to start 21st in the 120, another E production. That's Michael Thompson in a Porsche Boxster. Starting 22nd in a B-SPEC, number 57. That's David Rosenblum, and he is in a Mini Cooper, Greg.
All right, there you go. That is your rundown for race number 3. And Brian, with all those engines expiring, it shouldn't surprise you that we've also had a number of our cameras expire as well, as they are starting to succumb to the heat. Somebody a little bit earlier asked, "Why are the cameras so far away?" And the answer is so that our camera operators can go and get cooled down more easily. They don't want to be close to the pavement there.
Yeah.
But apologize. Hopefully some of them will come back on board, but we're going to bring you the best broadcast we can as that beautiful Ciocca Corvette, C8 Corvette pace car, driven by, I believe, Ed Jenks from the South Jersey region of the SCCA, has the field starting to form up behind. And as they come through, again, our pole sitter, John Hainsworth, who had a great run at the National Championship Runoffs this past year, Brian, in that beautiful open-top Mazda RX-7, second-gen RX-7. He had a great run until he didn't, unfortunately. And that's just kind of how things ended up for him now. Oh, look at that. Our Turn 12 camera comes back to life. Pace car on the pit lane, turning things over to Hainsworth as our starter looks over the field. And Brian, green flag's in the air. We're racing again here once again from New Jersey Motorsports Park. Not a big surprise as Hainsworth jumps out to an early lead over our STL pole sitter Nick Leveroni there, but also jumps out to an early lead over that E-Production GT6, that beautiful green GT6 of Anthony Parker.
Yeah, I tell you what, he snuck in there a little bit, keep Anthony Parker back into third, move Deacon Greenfield back a little bit further, back in the fourth position. Deacon just didn't seem like he got the run going down, and you can see the power from these cars of John Hainsworth. It's making the camera a little wobbly there,
That's
Greg.
right.
That's all the power that John Hainsworth had on that start. You could feel the rumble on the ground. Tell you what, another car getting around. That's Kevin Fryer getting around Deacon Greenfield. Deacon having a little bit of a problem there, taking off, so not able to get through there. One of our boxers there, I believe that's the 120 machine, Michael Thompson, a little bit further back. So David Rosenblum right on the back bumper of Dan Conway. Again, we talked about Robert Aaron Jr. there having the motor expire along with Tom Broing in that H production. So that moved actually Rosenblum up closer to Conway. Look for that battle because, again, we talk about B-SPEC. B-SPEC, you need to have a partner as well, just like in the last group that we have. We'll see whether or not Conway's able to hold off Rosenblum as they get about a car length and a half a little bit. I do suspect Conway will be a little bit quicker based off of watching those two cars earlier today in qualifying in both of those sessions.
Yeah, and so, Brian, interesting things here is you talked about Greenfield and you thought he might get a little bit better start than he did in that little red CRX, the number 32 machine, who's your current track record holder here in STL. He was out-qualified, though, by Nick Leveroni, who's our 2019 Touring 4 national champion by almost a second and a half. Greenfield is continuing to have some issues with that CRX, very similar to what he experienced at Watkins Glen International a couple weeks ago for the Super Tour, with what appears to be a wiring issue where when that car goes over some serrated curbs, gator teeth, what have you, it ends up shutting down the motor.
Yeah.
And he has to recycle the electrics on it to get it back up and running. And he said he's become very adept at doing that while the car is still rolling.
Right.
But it's not something that he wants to have to devote his attention to, as I'm sure you can understand.
Yeah, I tell you what, last time by I was watching down at turn 7, Brad Childs in that number 87. He went as wide as you could go without getting to the grass there in turn number 1. That allowed Greg Bogart in that 23 machine to come back up along with Brian Hune in that 123. Again, that is a battle in STL, and that would actually end up being, again, between those two, Bogart and Hune, that's the battle for the last podium spot. Again, still very, very early, but a battle for third in that STL. Again,
and they'll be coming into our view here. There is Brad Childs in the white Miata. Bogart there in the yellow number 23, and Brian Hune in the 123 machine has gotten around him. Now, as they come down towards turn 1, Brian, of course, Benazik in the H production Honda CRX, your H production leader. That's a car with about 110 horsepower. He's down quite a bit of power from the STL machines around him. Should note also, though, that Brad Childs in that white 87 car, Dude Bro, and he races under Dude Bro Racing. We'll talk a little bit more about Brad in just a moment here. Brad has now dropped, looks like there's Brad now coming into turn 5. He's dropped almost 30 car lengths back from Kevin Fryer. Fryer currently running second in Touring 4. And just watch there. And actually, let's do this, Brian. I'm going to try to do this with as many cameras as we have shutting down right now. I want to watch the battle right now for the lead in Touring 4. There is Chip Herr in his new-to-him, it's a Scion FRS, right? They're coming through turn 11 right now, and that is the number 90 Touring 4 machine of Kevin Fryer. Now, that is a new-ish car for Kevin Fryer there as they come through the final corner. and onto the front straight. Fryer had a big incident at Road Atlanta a year ago as part of the Super Tour. Got together with Mark Cephalo, who we expect to see.
We'll see him in the last group.
In Spec Miata,
Yep.
exactly. And Kevin had, unfortunately, Kevin had to build a new car. And you and I have been watching Kevin race for years and years, having started off in the IT ranks, driving a BMW 2002. He actually still comes back and races that car from time to time. And there is Chip Hurt, your current T4 leader, with Kevin Fryer directly behind. And now, as you can see here, as I sit on this camera for what seems like an eternity, Brian, there is Brad Childs with that battle in STL. Now the battle for the last step on the podium between Bogart in the yellow 23, who's gotten back around that black 123 of Brian Hune. Hune, and interesting with Hune racing in the Miatas, he and his wife Valerie had for years raced in Formula 500s. Now, as Hune takes a look to the inside on Bogart, Brian, and I think he might have gotten that pass done.
Yeah, it looks like he may be able to make that stick right there, but it looks like Bogart's going to go back over under there, try to. And again, Bogart's been getting a lot of driver instruction this weekend from Rich Roman as well out here. So they've been kind of working back and forth, especially in this section of the racetrack. Yeah. Where Greg is having to wait a little bit more, change the lines a little bit more to make that car handle a little bit better. And so he's got a really good battle on his hand with Brian Hune, as you talked about. Brian also getting a lot better out here in that car as he progresses through, really made that nice dive underneath Bogart, heading up into the octopus there.
Yeah, so Brian Hune and his wife Valerie for years had raced in Formula 500. They moved over to these STL NC Miatas a couple of years ago. When we saw Brian back in the spring for a regional race on the New Jersey Motorsports Park Lightning Circuit, he had actually brought Valerie's car because it was deemed that it would take less work to get that car together and ready to go. And I think he might possibly still be in that car currently, as Bogart is just absolutely relentless trying to get that position back right now.
Hey, shout out Taylor Hyatt in here in the chat. Good to see her up. I shouldn't say up, but good to see her in here. Taylor's had some surgeries as of late, so I know she's
the reason why she's not up is because of those surgeries have been on her ankles.
Yeah, so really having a struggle there. Hope she's getting better soon. Can't wait to see her back as well in a race car, hopefully next year. I don't think it'll be this year, but definitely hope to see her back out here running next year when they get a chance. But yeah, you talk about that battle right there. Brian Hune now going back around Bogart in that battle in STL. I tell you what, Greg, that looks like that may end up coming down to the very end of this race as they start to move ever so closely again to the Brad Childs in that 84. Brad just doesn't seem to get through the octopus, certain, coming through 4, coming through 5, and going into the octopus, spreads it out a little bit more in that Miata, but then those two are able to work together to do it. And now we watch them come down through turn number 1 here. Brian Hune opening up a little bit more over Bogart as far as I've seen pretty much the entire race.
And so going back to Brad Childs, now he is under the Planet Miata tent here this season, and I know he's been getting a lot of help from Mark Cephalo. Hails out of Jupiter, Florida, Brian. And interesting story with Brad, and it looks like Hune's going to take a look to the inside of Brad Childs. Again, that is not for a position in class, but certainly he wants to be able to get around and put that Touring 4 car between he and Bogart. Right now, Brad Childs, he is a boat captain, Brian. And
we're going to hold him to it. I know the story you're going to.
Yeah, exactly. And I mention it almost all the time here. So he had a company that he sold a number of years ago, back in 2017, bought a race car. Now his retirement down in Jupiter, Florida, is a tour boat. I would call it a boat captain for hire. He basically goes and takes folks out on tours. And he is offered us to next time we come down to Florida, take us out on the boat, have a great time, and of course, every time he sends us a driver bio, his nickname is Dude and Bro, and he's racing for Dude Bro Racing. Anyway, a little bit further back, Brian here, and I just wanted to pick it up. We've got father and son Rick Benazik in the number 11 Honda Civic hatchback. And then about 8 seconds behind is Matt Benazik, who I think is who we just picked up in that shot there.
Just coming in right here.
Oh, there is Matt. Matt's in the gray car.
Yep.
Rick is in the black car.
Yep. Tell you what, Rick, he was right on the back bumper of Warren Sackman going down in there, and it's spread out a little bit further now. But I tell you what, it was almost as if Rick was pushing Warren down the front, like pushing him through. And it looks like we got Brian Yoon having a problem going down in through there.
Yeah, as he ran wide through the dirt there, coming out of turn 4, going down into turn number 5. And he is going to lose a number of positions. But Brian, also, it looks like Bogart has gotten around Brad Childs as well. I was going to say, so that H-Prod car of Rick Benazik, it's down quite a bit of horsepower from the Touring 4 and STL machines around him. I want to do this, Brian, real quick, because we haven't checked in with him. We do have one racer right now running an in-car camera for us, and that is Courage Motorsports' Alex Cumming, as he's
Conway goes by him.
Yeah, Dan Conway, who was the pole sitter in B-SPEC at last year's National Championship Runoffs, comes right underneath the Touring 4 Mazda RX-8 of Cumming. Here now, of course, Alex Cumming with Courage Motorsports, one of our broadcast partners, helping you bring you the coverage this weekend. But wanted to give you a look at what it's like coming through the Octopus here and how twisty it is, as he's now coming out of turn 11 and heading towards the bridge, as our overall leader, John Hainsworth, puts him a lap down as well.
Yeah, and Alex should get a pretty good run on Conway. Coming up through there. He's going to move over to driver's left. Conway going to move over
and catch a draft.
Driver's right, cut a little draft. But I tell you what, Conway's going to end up catching right back up to him on the back bumper. Can't really see it in the rear view mirror, but I tell you what, Conway's definitely going to be right there behind him. I can see it just in your right, and it looks like Conway's going to push the issue with Cumming. Again, that Mazda 2's got a little bit better handling through some of these corners than Alex Cumming in that in that RX-8.
And that RX-8, normally known for being a pretty good handling machine, very well balanced car. This is also something, and there's Cumming right now with Conway directly behind, still trying to get a handle on that car. He's had it for about a season now. And very different than the first-gen Mazda RX-7 that he had been racing for the longest time. Between that stick axle rear and a fully independent rear, that RX-8, a very different machine. Also, should mention that Nick Leveroni, whoops, wrong corner here, I'm sorry. Nick Leveroni starting to open up. He just went through the shot, I believe, has put the Porsche Boxster of Michael Thompson a lap down.
Tell you what, Greg, as we start to get halfway, why don't we go ahead and make a call here for our next group?
Attention in the paddock. First call to the grid for race group number 4, our open wheel racers. Formula V, Formula F, Formula Atlantic, Formula Continental, FE2, Formula X, Prototype, and Prototype 2. Please head to the grid. Oh, and I forgot, of course, Formula 6. I knew I forgot something. Open wheel and prototype racers, please head to the grid. Your race is next.
Shout out Joe Aquilante in our chat today. I'm surprised Joe's not here. Seems like everybody else in the family is here but Joe.
Exactly.
So, Joe, got to get you back in the car. Got to get you running here. So,
and we normally have Joe checking in for the Big Bore Racers. So I want to thank him for joining us. As we see there, Nick Leveroni, who's running second overall in that Mazda Miata. He leads STL at the moment. And Brian, he has opened up a considerable lead over Deacon Greenfield. Apparently those electrics really causing an issue. Has almost 10 full seconds on our current track record leader or holder here.
Tell you what, you got that 44 Anthony Parker there getting ready to come right up on the back bumper there of Dan Conway and that Alex Cumming machine in that Triumph GT6. I'll tell you what, Greg, you were right. That is such a beautiful car. He's definitely going to go inside. And, if there's ever a car that becomes where I'm not sure if everybody can see him because it fits so low to the ground.
One of the lower cars there. And, of course, the GT6 looks very much like a Triumph Spitfire, different rear suspension, and, of course, built as a hardtop car there as we watch Chip Herr continue to open the advantage that he has on Kevin Fryer on that black number 90 now coming through. But saw there where Deacon Greenfield's been starting to close things up just a little bit on the GT6. And again, that's not a battle in class. That's a battle for third overall. Parker currently second in E-production. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me move over here as we focus on Chip Herr in his Touring 4 machine.
David Rosenblum in that Mini. Still kind of out there running around. David, a little bit off the pace there in that B-SPEC car. Again, David running B-SPEC for several years, got out of it. I think sold some of his cars, and then ended up getting back in this Mini and running again. So good to see David back out here running.
All right, so let's gonna try to shift down into the Octopus now as we were checking in with Alex Cumming, and it looks like Alex's in-car video, Brian, has
turned itself off as well. It got a little hot as well, just like kind of everybody else here as Deacon Greenfield now gotten around that Conway Cumming machine. Here comes Chip Herr, as you were talking about. It looks like he's getting ready to come up on that Michael Thompson machine in that 120 again. So there goes Deacon Greenfield. There goes Cumming. There goes Conway. The next two cars that will come through the shot here behind should be Chip Herr along with Michael Thompson in that 120. And, we've seen Michael Thompson in other series as well with that Porsche Boxster running as well. So Michael getting a lot of track time out here.
Indeed.
Probably getting ready to come back here in August, second weekend in August, 8th and 9th or 9th and 10th to come back in here and run that Porsche Boxster.
All right, so Brian, with about 7.5 minutes remaining here in this 25-minute timed race, let me make a second call to the grid for our next group. Attention in the paddock, second call to the grid for race group number 4. That is our open wheel and prototypes, Formula F, Formula V, Formula 600, Formula Atlantic and Continental, Formula Enterprise 2, Formula X, Prototype, and Prototype 2, please head to the grid. Race group number 4, open wheel and prototypes, please head to the grid. Your race is next.
So it looks like we may get some, may get up to about 17 laps here. So just short of about 5 more to go here, Greg, for John Hainsworth leading in that E-production in that Mazda RX-7. Nick Leveroni, as you talked about, in that Mazda Miata number 37, leading STL. Anthony Parker in that E-production number 44, that Triumph GT6 going to be second. Deacon Greenfield, as we talked about, second in STL in that 32. Chip Herr in that T4 machine. He's got about 4-second lead over Kevin Fryer in that 90 machine. Then Greg Brogard, that's going to be your third in STL in that number 23 machine. Brad Childs sitting in third in T4 as well. That's 8th overall. So that's your top 8 amongst the basically in this group, and it's really comprised of E-production, STL, and T4 machines.
All right, so Chip Herr, who's running 5th overall, Brian, just puts Alex Cumming a lap down in Touring 4. Again, Herr, your leader in class, Cumming currently running 5th in class.
Greg, a couple drivers that didn't take the green flag. 2 of them we noticed, and we talked about at the beginning when we gave the rundown. Tom Brewing in that 5, in that H production. Robert Ahern in that 36 B-SPEC machine, along with Thomas Polino in that 34 STL. I didn't see Thomas go out earlier either, so I'm not sure if he actually went out there, had a problem, and then the Laurent Fumex in the number 8 machine.
Yeah, so Laurent Fumex driving a Lotus 7. That car had some issues during the second qualifying session, and I'm sure probably affected the decision in order to bring that car out for the race today. We'll see. Hopefully it'll come out tomorrow. Heck, he's in an open-top car, Brian. It might be the coolest thing running.
Might
literally.
be the right. We can put some cameras in there for him and let him run around, cool our cameras off.
Down, yeah.
At least 2 of them anyway. So again, pretty much not really a battle on the racetrack right now. Everybody pretty much spread out amongst the groups and amongst the different classes here. So kind of just at this point, again, we talked about this with the other groups as well, Greg. Not only did you have 2 qualifying sessions today, one in the morning and then one kind of in the mid-afternoon right before lunch and right currently after lunch. Basically, this group here, was pretty much in the hottest part of the day, both in their morning session and when they came back roughly after lunch. This was the first group that had their second qualifying after lunch. So again, these racers have been kind of racing in the hot, but you can still set a fast lap here, and that will propel you and put you in a higher position in a starting grid for tomorrow.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, so our feature-length races tomorrow, which are 22 laps or 45 minutes for most of our race groups, with the exception of our open-wheel prototypes, which are going to run for 20 laps tomorrow. Much different strategy than what we have here today, certainly. Brian, now I have been watching here Kevin Fryer and Chip Herr, and Fryer's been closing things down. The last lap actually made up 2 full seconds on Chip Herr ahead, and with, again, probably somewhere along the lines of 4 more laps to go, there's a good opportunity there as they come through. Now, we'll check as they come across the line to complete another lap to see if that gap was made up. He picked up, Fryer now picked
another
up
7/10.
Yeah, another bunch. And I just missed both of them. We'll get them coming down into turn 1 here in a moment. There may be some time there for Fryer to make a shot at the T4 lead.
Yeah, I'm sure Chip Herr is not real happy with the handling of that race car right now. I think when he gets back in here, he'll work with the crew down there to try to really make as many as many changes as necessary to go out for tomorrow, because again, when these drivers race tomorrow, it'll be kind of roughly around that 11 o'clock. It's still going to be warm. Not going to be as warm as it was today when they kind of went out, but hopefully. Yeah, thankfully and hopefully.
We've heard that there's a possibility of some showers as well. We'll see if that happens here.
Yeah.
But you can see there, even under braking, Fryer closes up maybe another car length. The question is, it's easy to close up and be harder and later on the brakes going into a corner. It's whether or not you can carry the speed out of the corner as well. And it looks like Fryer with that MX-5 is, as he continues to close things up. Both of these racers coming up towards the back of the H-Prod Civic of Matt Benazek, currently running second in Class 2, his father. There's the father. There's Rick Benazek going through 12, Chip Herr, Kevin Fryer, and then we'll see come through here. You can see the gap there, and I think this time Herr may have put the throttle down.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't pick up as much as you would think. I mean,
about 400ths
of a second. Yeah. I know that's you look at it from a stopwatch perspective. That's not a lot. That is a little bit, maybe a quarter panel worth of car pickup. So again, as I said, I'm sure Chip is not happy with the setup in this car, especially the front end. It doesn't look like as he gets by Matt Benazek right there heading down into through turn 4 into turn 5. I don't think he's going to be real happy with that car. So they'll definitely make some changes. Looks like he's losing the front end just a little bit more than he really wants to, or as anticipated that would happen as the race went on.
Yeah, indeed. And so let's take a look here. I think I was wondering when Kevin Fryer would get up to the back of the Civic, and he may have done it at perhaps the worst possible time, Brian, just as they're entering the Octopus. But Benazek leaves that car, driver's left, lets Kevin Fryer come underneath him. And he may have still made out well in this exchange because Chip Herr got tied up a little bit with Benesic going into turn 5 just a few moments ago. So let's take a look here as they come through the final corner and onto the front straight. And it looks as though maybe Herr opened things up as they came out of the octopus.
Mm-hmm.
All right, 1 lap to go, being shown to these drivers that are currently running 5th and 6th. That means John Hainsworth is on his last lap,
Yep.
Brian. I'm going to try and track down where Hainsworth is, and I think he's actually coming. There
Right
he
there.
is right there, coming through the octopus for the very last time. And he's got about 12 seconds on the rest of the field. He's only really worried about Anthony Parker, who's running 3rd overall at the moment. And we'll see that RX-7 now come through the final corner and onto the front straight.
I think he's already past that. He's well in front of that, already taking that checkered flag.
I missed him, Brian.
So we missed him. Nick Leveroni now getting ready to come up over the top of the hill here. Nick Leveroni is going to pick up the win in STL in that 37 machine. Here comes Bogart. So again, Bogart in that number 23, Greg, he's actually going to finish 3rd, but he's going to be a lap down to
Deacon Greenfield and Nick Leveroni.
Yeah, so
there you go. And so as the rest of the field starts to filter through, Brian, it is in STL going to be Nick Leveroni, followed by Deacon Greenfield with Greg Bogart a lap down. Warren Sackman should bring home his machine in 4th with Brian Hune. And Hune was having a great run early on with Bogart. Hune that off over by turn 4. Just something he could not recover from. He's going to finish 5th in STL. NH Production, father beats son. Rick Benesic out of the New York region in the number 11 3rd-gen Honda Civic will beat his son, Matt Benesic, to the line by 20 seconds. And with Tom Broering, unfortunately, not being able to make the grid, those two are your only finishers. In B-SPEC, and we should see him coming across the line right now. There he is, your B-SPEC winner, Dan Conway, in the number 98 Rat Sport machine. David Rosenblum will finish a lap down in 2nd. In Touring 4, Chip Herr will take the win. Kevin Fryer finishes 2nd. Brad Childs will finish in 3rd, with Olivier Lucier and his Boxster finishing just off the podium, and Alex Cumming finishing in 5th. And finally, as we mentioned, E Production, of course, your overall winner, John Hainsworth. Anthony Parker will finish 2nd, and then Michael Thompson in his Porsche Boxster will bring his machine home in 3rd. All right, so Brian, that's going to wrap things up for this group. Let's do this. Let's make a final call to the grid for our next race group. Attention in the paddock, open wheel and prototype racers. Please head to the grid. Your race starting in just a few moments. Open wheel and prototype racers, please head to the grid. And so with that, Brian, let's take a quick break. We'll be back here with just a few moments with our open wheel prototype racers, race number 4 or 5 this afternoon from New Jersey Motorsports Park's Thunderbolt Circuit. It's the Fay Teal Memorial Jersey Devil Majors. Please stay with us.
What does it take to be America's largest Corvette dealer? At Ciocca, it starts with our premier selection of new and certified Corvettes on the lot or custom ordered with new vehicles arriving every day. Add in the country's most experienced team of specialists to help you find the perfect ride, along with the confidence that you're doing business with a company that shares your passion for excellence. Find out more at CioccaCorvette.com, or better yet,
Come to America's largest Corvette dealership, Ciocca Corvette in Atlantic City.
Looking to level up your motorsport game? At Courage Motorsport, we've got everything you need, from high-performance parts, tires, and safety gear, to car rentals, expert driving instruction, and even our own Courage racing gear. Whether you're a beginner, a pro, or looking to kickstart your motorsport career with training in both the business of racing and securing sponsorships, we've got you covered. Check out our gear, grab a shirt, and represent your passion. Email us at trackready@couragemotorsport.com or visit couragemotorsport.com and get ready to hit the track.
Cornerstone Financial Advisors is a family-owned and operated full-service financial planning firm in Haddon Heights, New Jersey. Advising clients throughout the country for over 33 years, certified financial planners Michael and Shauna Lamena offer a comprehensive financial planning service including retirement investment, life insurance, and estate planning to both individuals and businesses. Every plan is detailed and specifically tailored to either the business owner or the individuals they specialize in, putting you on the right track. Give them a call for a free, no-obligation consultation at 856-546-6505 or visit them on the web at cornerstonecfp.com. That's cornerstonecfp.com.
Willing and Able Racing offers top-quality spec race car rentals with full setup and repair services, including trackside support for SCCA, NASA, VRG, and other organizations' road race, time trials, and track day events. They're spec racer Ford specialists, and each of their Gen 3 machines sports a SATAV sequential transmission and a data acquisition system. Also offering spec Miata rentals, Willing and Able is currently taking reservations for the remainder of the Mid-Atlantic Road Racing Series season. For more information, email Willing and Able at rent@WNARacing.com, see them on Instagram at WNA Racing, or visit their website at WNARacing.com. Willing and Able would like to thank all the volunteers this weekend who've graciously donated their time so that we may race.
Welcome back to New Jersey Motorsports Park. See, Brian, I got it right that time.
There you go.
New Jersey Motorsports Park. It is the 2025 edition of the Fay Teal Memorial Jersey Devil Majors presented by the South Jersey region of the SCCA. And, of course, Brian and I would like to thank our broadcast partners, WNA Racing, Willing and Able Racing, as well as Courage Motorsports that are helping to bring you this coverage here on the Washington, D.C. region and South Jersey region SCCA YouTube channels. And Brian, as our open wheel and prototype racers leave the grid, start to head down the pit lane, why don't we run down the starting order?
Yeah, starting on the pole in his Formula Continental, that's the 08 of Don Betterly. Starting in the second position, that's the 3-year pole sitter in Formula F. That's the younger King. That's Jacob King. Starting in the third position, in that number 8, in that Formula 600, that's Dino Ladico. Starting in the fourth position, in the number 9, this is your pole sitter in Formula V, that's David Scaler. Starting in the fifth position, the number 79, second in Formula V, that's Alex Scaler. Starting in the sixth position, that's the 61, another Formula V, that's Jonathan Weisheit. Starting in the seventh position, another Formula F in the 03. We saw him earlier on, Greg, in our big bore. That is Ted Zorbas. Starting in the eighth position, the 04, another Formula V. That is Chase Johnson. And starting ninth in the number 29 and starting fifth in Formula V, that is Jeffrey Vallejo. So, again, only 9 cars in this group right here. Again, this is the group we talked about earlier on. When we get tomorrow, they're going to shorten that race from 22 laps down to 20 just because some of these drivers here, potentially may have a fuel issue. And you don't want to have them run 20 laps and then all of a sudden run out of fuel. Trust me, I've raced in a car that at 20 laps, that was the most it is. You had just enough to start it back up and get it up on the trailer or in the trailer.
God forbid, Brian, you're not able to. You don't have enough fuel for your victory lap. So,
I never did. I never took a victory lap. I've won a couple of races, especially in my legend car. And I could not take a victory lap. It was make that right-hand turn. Even one race, I actually had to have a couple crew people and some emergency vehicle push me down through the scales.
Really?
I did not have enough fuel in there.
Oh, my gosh.
And it was packed as much as we could get into it at the start of the race. So,
all right. So, Don Betterly, in his RFR, he is representing the Northeast Pennsylvania region. Of course, Jake King, actually the secretary for the South Jersey region of the SCCA. Dino Ladico, and I saw Dino working a little bit on his car before the second qualifying session. He did not go out for the second qualifying session.
He is there. I see him.
Oh, I know he's there for the race. He just didn't go out for the qualifying
the
session.
other 2 cars can't see him, but, he
exactly.
is there. You'll hear him once he starts.
Yeah, and, should note on the pole in Formula V, Alex Scaler, and he's probably, I take that back, Dad David is on the pole in the number 9 machine in his Vortec, as opposed to Alex, who has a lot of national race experience.
Our camera 12 has come back now,
look
too,
at that.
Right at the very end of the thing, so
There
it must
you
be
go.
all the power that that these open wheel cars.
That's right. All right, so pace car on the pit lane. Field making their way down the front straight. Starter looks over the field, and green flag is in the air. Don Betterly getting a very good start there. And it looks like maybe Jake King may have lost the gear, but may have missed a shift.
Well, no, Greg, there was a lot. That was a very, very late green flag, and they were kind of all over the place, 3 wide. One of our Formula Vs, and that may have been David, started to get a good run up the middle and then had to back out of it as quickly as possible and basically move the whole second half of this field kind of back into, kind of a frenzy there. So, and now it looks as we watch that field there at the front, looks like the Formula 600 may have dropped back. But again, Ladico got a great start on Jake King. And as they went through turn 1, King just didn't seem to get a great run from the outside of the front row. Now it looks as though he may have recovered. The question is, and we'll watch here coming through the Octopus, did Ladico drop off? Nope, he's
No,
still
there he is.
sitting
Yeah, there he is,
yep.
right in front of the Formula Vs.
Yep.
Right in front of looks like Alex Scaler and David Scaler as they come out of the Octopus through turn 12 and onto the front straight. There is Jake King. There's Ladico, and then our Formula Vs. It is Alex Scaler.
Yep.
David Scaler with ends up losing a position there to Jonathan Weisheit. Weisheit in his JK Technologies machine, who has who has put in a lot of time recently on his Formula Enterprise 2 program. Comes back and runs this weekend in the Formula V, and has done a lot of work on his XP1 to try to make it as close to undraftable, Brian, as you can in a Formula V. And I was talking with him earlier this season. As a matter of fact, I believe it was our first Mars race at Summit Point this year, and he had mentioned that that Alex Scaler called him up one day and says, "Hey, can you help a brother out? And is it possible that we could collaborate a little bit and I could get access to the bodywork they're using at the back of the car?" And that's when Weisheit's determination, I think, came through. He basically brushed Alex off and said, "No, because you'll beat me that way."
Yes, right, exactly. Yeah.
He didn't want to give such a strong competitor like Alex, any more of an advantage than he might already have.
Right. Yeah, again, you talked about, David dropping back, and again, that became where, it was he kind of got in the middle, right? And then had to get out and check on the brake because the green flag really hadn't come out yet. And at that point, once the green flag, everybody else anticipated where it was going to be.
All right, and so we are seeing now already where Alex Scaler is starting to open up an advantage on Jonathan Weisheit. Scaler in the blue 79, Weisheit in the 61, directly behind. David Scaler, though, right on the back of Jonathan Weisheit. We'll watch him here in just a few moments coming down into turn 1. There is Alex Scaler, and there is Weisheit and David Scaler. Weisheit in the blue 61, David Scaler in that green number number 9 machine directly behind.
Yeah, David, I wouldn't be surprised if David doesn't sit behind Jonathan Weisheit and try to really work to catch up to Alex, right, at that point, and then try to use him to separate away from Jonathan Weisheit as, 79 and 9, basically, not only father-son, but teammates out here on the racetrack. So, again, utilizing that with the draft. Again, this is another product of, looks like maybe David may have locked it up a little bit there. And don't worry, not all of that smoke is a bad thing. It would be if they weren't smoking, it would be a bad thing.
It would be a bad thing, exactly.
You don't worry about whether or not they are they're smoking when they let off the gas. But it did look like he did lock it up a little bit, kind of coming through the Octopus there right before they came out of.
And that's kind of surprising, Brian, because in a Formula V, of course, these 1200cc air-cooled motors, you are trying. They put out about 60, like high 60s in the horsepower range. You are doing everything that you can to keep those wheels rolling and have as little resistance as you can, and just small drags on the brakes if possible.
One of the cars having a little bit of a problem here. Just saw it was there in your screen. Going around turn 1, Ted Zobrist in that Formula F, in that Van Diemen, really seemed to be well off the pace there.
Yeah.
A little bit further back, he's behind Jeffrey Vallejo and Chase Johnson in those 2 Formula Vs. So again, Ted having some problems there.
Yeah, and so Zorb's in that Van Diemen. He qualified with a 1:33.747, which to be perfectly honest, in a Formula 4, probably not a Formula 4, to Formula F, because it could be Honda powered, is a bit off the pace.
Yeah.
But today, right now in the race, he's running about 3 seconds off of that qualifying pace.
Yeah.
So definitely exhibiting some issues with that car.
Jeffrey Vallejo in that 29 machine getting ready to come out of turn 11. Tell you what, Greg, I don't think I've ever seen a Formula V as sideways as I just saw right there.
Really?
And he was able to capture that car back up, and it looks like he's going to start to make a little bit of a ground up on Chase Johnson. So maybe for Jeffrey Vallejo, maybe that is the fastest way to come out of that turn is to drift it with that Formula V. And again, it's not like he has super wide tires on it.
No, definitely
you got
not.
to be careful.
Well, I think the only time I saw Vallejo maybe as crossed up as what we just saw, Brian, was I think at this event last year. It started to pour down rain at the very end. I think
exactly.
like the
down
last
turn
lap,
one, everybody had taken with one to go. It's like all of a sudden,
and everybody was in the grass going through turn one up to turn two. Just because, it just the skies just opened up with no warning whatsoever. Well, we had warning.
Yeah, we were able to see it start to come down here, especially, and it really started down at turn one. And now it looks like Vallejo is going to get a good run on Chase Johnson there in that 0-4 machine. So move Jeffrey Vallejo up into fourth in Formula V right now, Greg.
So we'll stay on this shot here for a second. Yeah, and he's now going into turn 7. He's opened up. Almost 6 car lengths or so.
Yeah,
huge advantage.
Yeah.
Now let's stick with this the battle just ahead of them with Weishite and David Scaler, because this is at this point Alex Scaler has just left the chat. He's got almost I think somewhere along the lines of 15 seconds now.
Well, let's go ahead and pull that up. Yeah,
actually,
it's almost
7 seconds.
7 seconds. But again, that 7 seconds in a Formula V is like a lifetime, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're not even looking at the same, turn as they are. But again, Jonathan Weishite holding off David Scaler. I really thought David Scaler would get up there and they would go a little bit faster than Alex. But David and Jonathan, they're 2 seconds back.
Well, I'll tell you,
Alex by himself.
Yeah, as Alex comes through the shot here, you say that you think that the two of them would be able to. Not that Alex is an alien as far as Formula V racers go, but he is very accomplished, and I think probably if there is a race that stands out to me, Brian, it was the runoffs. There he is right now, and again, and it looks like even more than 7 seconds. The runoffs at Road America in 2021, just before we had gone to VIR for
2020, because 2021 we were at Indy.
We were at Indianapolis, that's right. At 2020, he was with 1 lap remaining, I would say about 20 car lengths back, actually with 2 laps remaining. He was about 20 car lengths back from the leaders, running in 5th position, and somehow by the time they got by the time the leaders had made it through the kink, made it down through the kettle bottoms, and had gotten to Canada Corner, he was right there on the back of them, and it then became a 5-car drag race out of Canada Corner, and then up through Bill Mitchell and through Thunder Valley, and it didn't end the way I think any of those racers wanted it to end, because a couple of those cars got together coming through Thunder Valley. But he just, on his own, was able to close things up on those racers.
Yeah. There they go there, going through. So it does look like David has moved up. Oh, we got standing yellow down in 9. So.
Yeah. And that actually, it's corner 9, so it should be over, I believe that is actually just before this corner. And we've got a car off in the dirt, off in the grass, and in a very bad position, apparently, Brian. And so in order to do that,
full course yellow.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we'll call it, it's almost like going to a casino, Brian. It's house rules here.
Right.
If we're going to deploy any safety vehicles, we need to go to a full course caution.
Yeah.
And so that is the case right now, as we've got Weishite and David Scaler coming through.
Didn't hear the number, but we'll look. But I believe that may have been
Chase Johnson
in the 0-4, because he's a full lap down. To the Formula Vs, and And I know that Vallejo had just passed him. There comes Vallejo now, coming out of turn 12. So
yeah,
it looks
and
like
we're
we have
also
something.
getting word that the driver is out of the car, which
Yes.
obviously
so
would
may have some type
complicate
of
things.
correct, right?
All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to park things here, Brian, over at actually we just saw the safety car leave turn 1.
Yep. So here comes well, no, that's Ted Zorbis right there. And you know what, Greg? It may be. You know what? It may not be Chase Johnson. We'll have to wait and see and get a number because Dino Ladico now is a lap down, and he was up in
so it might be
up in the 3rd or 4th position there.
The number 8 machine.
Yeah. So we're gonna have to see, and I don't hear Dino.
All right, real quick, Brian. We're just about halfway through this race, so we'll make a first call for our next group, which is going to be a fairly large group. And there's the safety car, actually picked up.
That's Vallejo.
Yeah. Attention in the paddock. Attention in the paddock. First call to the grid for race group 5, SPEC Miata and SMX. Please head to the grid. SPEC Miata and SMX racers, please head to the grid. Your race is next.
Yeah, so it looks like our safety car picked up Vallejo, then Ted Zorbis in that 0-3, and then another car back. So Don Betterly is going to be kind of fourth car in line once he catches up to them, which they should be coming down up out of turn number 3 as well.
Yeah.
So actually getting ready to go into the Octopus here. So it looks like you've got Vallejo, then Ted Zorbis, and then you've got Jacob King, who he's picking it up. So Don Betterly is just now going through turn 5 and headed up into turn number 6 right now. So he'll end up being the 4th car in line. And Greg, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't send all of those cars back around the pace car at some point once we get past this incident scene.
Well, yeah, and of course this is as it stands right now. This is a huge disadvantage for Jeffrey Vallejo,
right?
As the rest of the Formula V field is going to be behind him.
Well,
it almost puts him a full lap down.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. It seems like we've got, and again, not sure which one it is. It could either be Johnson or Ladico.
Yeah, we'll know.
We'll have to see here in a minute. I don't see, obviously, either one of them coming by. Both of those, Ladico's now 2 laps down. Go through it. So, yeah. So we're gonna have to see where we move everybody, because now Betterly's basically a full lap over the entire.
Right.
Yeah, so it does look like we are going to, at some point, once we get the emergency vehicles back out, Craig, we're going to send those cars around to pick up Betterly.
Maybe we should follow the safety vehicle around and see where he goes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's probably not a bad idea. So one of them, I believe, is, well.
Yeah, we'll pick it up.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Brian, real quick. As we are under full course caution conditions, this is probably a good opportunity. Let's talk about some of the broadcast events that we have coming up. And it's not going to take very long before you hear our wonderful voices again.
Yep.
And I should start practicing on that welcome back to Summit Point thing here.
Yeah, you're going to need to do that here in about the next 5 days.
That's
right. 5 to 6 days.
So next weekend, Brian and I will be at Summit Point Raceway, Summit Point Motorsports Park, for the next event on the Mid-Atlantic Road Racing Series schedule. And what you see here are the remaining events that we'll be broadcasting here, all part of the Mars Series. That Mid-Ohio date still a little up in the air, Brian. Hopefully we'll be able to bring that to you. We're still working some things behind the scenes in order to get that done. But 4 more events all left on the Mid-Atlantic Road Racing Series, and there are a couple of other events that you'll be able to catch as well. But you can catch them all on the DC Region YouTube channel. And Brian, what we're getting word of now is because of the amount of time that it is going to take to get that incident cleaned up and get that car removed. Basically, the decision has been made that it's going to take longer than 8.5 minutes.
Yep.
And
so let's go ahead and get this checkered right now.
Exactly. So the safety car, when it brings the field onto the front straight, they are going to get a checkered flag, and that's going to wrap things up for this open wheel group.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. But again, let's go ahead and run. So again, we'll Formula 600, Dino Ladico in that number 8 car, I believe, going to pick up the win there. Again, only 6 laps. Don Betterly not only going to win overall, but going to pick up the win in Formula Continental. In Formula V, it looks like Alex Scaler is going to pick up the win over Jonathan Whiteshite, and then David Scaler is going to come home in 3rd with Jeffrey Vallejo in 4th and Chase Johnson in 5th. In Formula F, looks like it's going to be Jacob King in that number 3 machine, along with the 0-3 of Ted Zorbis in the 0-3 is going to end up finishing 2nd. So.
All right, and so there you go. Checkered flag is in the air. Congratulations, Ed Jenks. You win our open wheel and prototype race. He's our safety car driver, by the way. So taking the win in, as you mentioned, the overall win, even though he wasn't the first car across the line, it's going to be Don Betterly in his RFR. And great run there. The big race, of course, that we were watching, Alex Scaler, what was almost a 10-second advantage there, of course, with all the cars under full course caution. Didn't end up that way, but I think that's going to give Alex the feels and get him all ready for tomorrow.
Yep.
All right, so that's going to wrap things up for open wheel and prototype. So, Brian, let's make a call to the grid. It'll be our second call to the grid, but we need them to start heading that way now for our 5th and final race group of the day. Attention in the paddock, race group 5. SPEC Miata and SPEC MX-5, please head to the grid. SPEC Miata and SPEC MX-5, please head to the grid. Actually, before we take a break, Brian, I wanted to respond to somebody at the chat because he's an old racing buddy of mine. Sean Christie in the chat. I used to race in ITA against him. When I raced my Honda CRX, he had an EF Honda Civic hatchback, and he wants to know what happened to IT classes. Sean, this is part of the U.S. Majors Tour. This is what used to be known as Nationals.
Yep.
And so IT, unfortunately, not eligible for these races.
Greg ruined it for everybody. That's basically what he's saying.
It's all my fault, exactly. Yeah, but this is a qualifier for the National Championship Runoffs. But more importantly, Sean, I am glad to see you here, and hope you're enjoying the coverage. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back here in just a few moments with our final race group of the day, SPEC Miata and SPEC MX-5. Stay with us.
Located right next door to the racetrack in Millville's Executive Airport Complex, the Glasstown Brewing Company has been the place to celebrate race wins with a cold one since 2013. As the only microbrewery here in Cumberland County, Glasstown cans and kegs close to 20 different beers on a rotating basis. Share a flight with friends inside or outside at one of the mini picnic tables where the history of flight is just feet away. And don't forget to buy a 6-pack or a growler for the house. Glasstown is open Tuesday and Wednesday from 2 until 8, Thursday through Saturday from noon until 9, and Sunday from noon until 7. To find out more, visit their website at glasstownbrewery.com or on Instagram at Glasstown Brewing.
Willing and Able Racing offers top quality spec race car rentals with full setup and repair services, including trackside support for SCCA, NASA, VRG, and other organizations' road race, time trials, and track day events. Their spec racer Ford specialists and each of their Gen 3 machines sports a SATAV sequential transmission and a data acquisition system. Also offering spec Miata rentals, Willing and Able is currently taking reservations for the remainder of the Mid-Atlantic Road Racing Series season. For more information, email Willing and Able at rent@wnaracing.com, see them on Instagram at WNA Racing, or visit their website at WNARacing.com. Willing and Able would like to thank all the volunteers this weekend who've graciously donated their time so that we may race.
Looking to level up your motorsport game? At Courage Motorsport, we've got everything you need, from high-performance parts, tires, and safety gear, to car rentals, expert driving instruction, and even our own Courage racing gear. Whether you're a beginner, a pro, or looking to kickstart your motorsport career with training in both the business of racing and securing sponsorships, we've got you covered. Check out our gear, grab a shirt, and represent your passion. Email us at trackready@couragemotorsport.com or visit couragemotorsport.com and get ready to hit the track.
Picture your perfect garage. How many cars are in there? Great, great. Now picture reality. How many cars can you actually have? Me too. With SCCA Club Spec, one car becomes your daily, your track car, your autocross car, even your time trials car. S197 Mustang if you like V8s and torque, NC Miata if you like compact and agile. SCCA Club Spec, spirited dailies, competitive race cars. Learn more at scca.com.
And welcome back to New Jersey Motorsports Park. It is the 2025 edition of the Fay Teal Memorial Jersey Devil Majors. I'm Greg Ginsburg along with Brian Donati. And Brian, as our racers head out on track now for their pace lap, this is our last race of the day. I just wanted to show you and show everybody why our cameras are starting to melt down. Actually, it doesn't look that bad.
Yeah, but it feels like 91. I guarantee you, with the cameras that we use,
Yeah.
it's 191.
Yeah, exactly. It's incredibly hot here as we've got the racers starting their pace laps for SPEC Miata and SPEC MX-5. Brian, let's run down the starting order.
Tell you what, these are all SPEC Miata, so no SPEC MX-5s
Okay.
running here today. But I tell you what, Greg, this was the closest battle from qualifying. It came down to the last several minutes of qualifying number 2. Starting on the pole in the number 15, that is Ryan Maloney. Starting in the second position, the number 20 of Seth Gentry. Starting in the third position in the number 44, that's Christian Zarnecki. Starting in the fourth position, that's Mark Cefalo, and he'll be in the 00. Starting in the fifth position, that's Nick Leveroni. We saw him earlier, and he'll be in the 92 in this event. Starting in the sixth position, that's Greg Bogart in the number 23. Starting in the seventh position in the 59, that's Antonio Abram. Starting in the eighth position, that's the 195 of John Jenkins. Starting in the ninth position, the 105 of Casey Mosley. Starting in the 10th position in the number 46, that's Domenico Luigi.
Domenico Luigi,
Dr. Dom.
That's right.
In the 11th position, in the 182, that's Nicole Cooper-Cefalo. Starting in the 12th position, that's Steve Facacci, and he'll be in the 51. Starting in the 13th position, that's Michael Lamena, and he'll be in the 88. Starting in the 14th position in the 07, that's Ken Williams. Starting 15th position in the 76, that's Warren Sackman. Starting in the 16th position, that's Gary Jenkins, and he'll be in the 70. And starting in the 17th and final spot, that's the number 77 of Eric Beck.
All right, Brian. And so as the field now making their way, and actually I'm way behind. Let's go over here and try to pick them up as they head down into the Octopus. Ryan Maloney on pole with a qualifying time of 1:33.418. Seth Gentry starting to his left on the outside of row number 1. Qualifying time of 1:33.478. A difference of 6/100ths of a second. And then Christian Zarnecki, who had a couple podium finishes at Watkins Glen just 2 weeks ago at the Hoosier Super Tour, Brian. Zarnecki at a 1:33.521 is only about 800ths of a second, less than 800ths of a second off of the times of Maloney. Oh, that's right. That camera is now gone. As well. So, I mean, very, very tight there up at the front. And frankly, Mark Cefalo, he's only a second back from the top 3, as well as the safety car, now pace car on the pit lane, turning things over to Ryan Maloney. And as Maloney brings them to the line, green flag is in the air, Brian, and we're racing once again. And Dr. Dom, for whatever reason, Brian, I'm going to stay on this shot here for a second.
He didn't go anywhere. He got moved.
Well, he went to the grass, and that is not the fast way down to turn at number 1. So the driver there, Surgeon, out of Binghamton, New York, is going to end up there as he tries to catch up to the rest of the field. He's going to be tail end Charlie there as he is now looking to make another run for the runoffs this year. And interesting to note, that number 46 machine in the same livery as Jim Goffrey, who was 4-time GT2 national champion. Brian, of course, Goffrey used to race a Nissan, not a Mazda. That's his wife's uncle. So it's all in the family there. Is Luigi, though, starting to make up some ground, I think, there on Eric Beck.
Well, I tell you what, Greg, the battle is really up front. Ryan Maloney, Christian Zarnecki actually pushed Maloney in front of Seth Gentry. Seth Gentry was the odd man out, coming through turn 1 all the way up through the hill. And then you a little bit further back, you had Nick Leveroni pushing Mark Cefalo. So the driver that's going to move from second all the way back to 5th right now is going to be Seth Gentry.
Yeah.
You had those two team cars of Leveroni and kind of Mark Cephalo there, kind of somewhat close to the teams. They ended up pushing each other and moved around him. That's going to move him all the way back, as I said, down to 5th. Then you've got to go a little bit further back from that, and then you end up with the 59 of Antonio Abram. But Ryan Maloney setting the pace right now with Christian Zarnecki. Again, Zarnecki pushing Maloney all the way out in through the first couple of turns there to try to separate themselves from Mark Cephalo as we start to go on lap number 2.
Yeah, and good to see Antonio Abram here racing this weekend, Brian. Saw him a number of years ago as a kid, because I think he's now probably maybe 20, 21 years old, representing the Atlanta region.
Still a kid.
Yeah, exactly. Atlanta region of the SCCA, used to race with Panic Motorsports. And he is up here racing, I think, trying to get qualified for the runoffs. Has been looking for a career running in aerospace, Brian.
Yeah, I tell you what, Christian Zarnecki side by side coming down through out of turn number 4, makes the pass on Ryan Maloney going through turn number 5. So throw out Christian Zarnecki now is your leader. Maloney back to second with Cephalo. And I tell you what, you've got Seth Gentry there. He's going to work with Nick Leveroni, and now it looks like they're going to go a little bit side by side, a little bit further back, getting ready to come down into the Octopus. They got back single file. So again, Seth Gentry still hanging on with Nick Leveroni, not too far back from our front 3.
And so I said Zarnecki had a couple podiums at Watkins Glen, Brian. He finished second both days after flirting with the lead there at Watkins Glen. And definitely that car that is a throwback to the old Miller Genuine Draft NASCAR machine. He is definitely looking to pick up a win and maybe get a little redemption for those second place finishes a couple weeks ago as they head down into turn 1. And he is really being pushed hard right now by Mark Cephalo and Nick Leveroni.
Yeah, we've got several battles all over the racetrack. And one of the battles I was watching there, Greg, as you were talking about that, was the Michael Lamena and Nicole Cooper Cephalo. They went side by side through the Octopus last time. When they came out of turn 12, Lamena was able to get in front of them. But I tell you what, it wasn't an easy task. Here comes our front 3 now with Christian Zarnecki, Ryan Maloney, Mark Cephalo, and then now throw in Leveroni and Gentry. So your top 5, Greg,
yeah,
they are nose to tail. Then you got to go back probably 5 or 6 car lengths back to Antonio Abram and the 195 of John Jenkins.
Yeah, and Jenkins took a good look on Abram going through turn 5. Wasn't able to get the pass done, and in doing so, they've lost even a little bit more ground to our that group just up ahead, the top 5, who are all so closely matched now as they come through. The carousel, the Octopus, for lap number 2.
Again, battles all along the racetrack in this class. And, Greg, this is definitely a class that you have to have a partner. You have to have either somebody behind you pushing you to utilize that draft to pull away. As you see, Ryan Maloney and Christian Zarnecki, again, during qualifying, they work together as well to try to set that fast lap. And as you just saw in your camera crossing the start-finish line, Greg, John Jenkins trying to make another move going against that 59 of Antonio Abram. And there it looks like he's definitely going to get that done.
He's got it done.
Move John Jenkins up into 6th place. We'll see whether or not he's going to be able to run down Seth Gentry along with Nick Leveroni, because if they start to battle, that's going to open up that big pocket of air that's going to allow Jenkins, even though it's single file there with him and Antonio Abram, they could end up catching that group and make it a 7-car battle.
All right, here is they continue to lose that group. Should mention Dr. Dom, Brian, he's made up a number of positions, now up in the 14th.
Yeah, in a pretty hefty battle there with Ken Williams, Warren Sackman, along with Gary Jenkins and Eric Beck. So Dr. Dom moving back from all the way shotgun on the field after the start. He never really got a good start.
No.
Falling all the way back 17th, worked his way back up to 14th, but he's got a good run on Ken Williams. And then the next car he's going to run up on will be Michael Lamena in that number 88 machine. Again, our front 5 pulling away over John Jenkins along with Antonio Abrams a little bit further back. Then you got to go back. Bogart, Fracacci, they're about another 2 seconds back. So again, not only is it a 5-car battle up front, but you got little pockets of battles with 1 and 2 and 3 cars coming through there to to do it. So Ken Williams is going to fall a little bit further back from that. Now move Nicole Cooper-Cephalo up and move Ken Williams all the way back to 14. So Ken having an issue somewhere in the octopus there, Greg, where the rest of that group ended up getting back by him. So Ken Williams drops all the way back down into the 14th position.
And as we watch here, as the field filters through, as you mentioned, the Bogart machine, that yellow number 23, Brian, currently sitting in 8th position. 42 years old. We asked him what his occupation is, and I wish I could do what he does. He just said, "I quit working."
Very nice. Very nice. Well, I tell you what, Steve Bogart and Focacci really got another battle going on as well there, Greg. A little bit further back.
All right, well, tell you what. I'll hold this shot for a little bit, Brian, and we'll pick them up.
Yeah, there goes the Jenkins and the Abram machine, and now here you go. There's Bogart and Focacci right now, and then a little bit further back, that's Nicole Cooper-Cephalo. So she's gotten back around not only Michael Amena, but Casey Mosley as well.
Yeah.
So, again, it could be that, that 182 machine starting to pick up a little bit, trying to catch Mark. She doesn't want Mark to be the only one to finish in that top 5. She wants to finish up in there too. So making some headway and moving around.
All right, as well, watch them here now make their run. There is Jenkins and Abram. There's Bogart and Bogart, Focacci, and Cephalo coming through as they now complete lap number 5 and make the run down towards turn number 1. Let's move back a little further up and go back to our leaders, Brian, as Sarnecki now looking as though both he and Ryan Maloney have started to eke out a little bit of a gap back to Mark Cephalo and Nick Leveroni.
Well, Seth Gentry, when they came by the start-finish line, right after that, started to make a move to the right of Leveroni. You can see where that has really gapped him off Leveroni. He got a good run off turn 12 down the front stretch. Started to make a little bit of move to the right. What that did, Greg, is that opened up that huge pocket of air, and that allowed Cephalo and Leveroni to get that extra car length that they needed to move out in front, but now Gentry's right back on the back bumper. So look for those three to be a little bit faster than the front two. There you see it. It's about 2 car lengths from Ryan Maloney and Christian Zarnecki. And again, those two worked really, really well together in the second qualifying run. I'm not sure about the first one. I didn't get to see the first one. But the qualifying session, Greg, came down to the end where Zarnecki ended up taking the pole there with about a couple minutes left. Then it was Maloney. Then it was Gentry. Then it was Maloney again. So, again, this battle here with these front 5 cars, look for this to go all the way down to the end with about 15 minutes left.
All right, here as they come across the line, completing lap 6. And, Brian, we are not even halfway with this race, only 9 minutes in the books, and still about 15 minutes remaining here in our first race of the weekend for SPEC Miata. And, of course, this race, Brian, this group tomorrow going to be racing much, much longer, going to be 22 laps or 45 minutes, almost twice the length.
These drivers are definitely going to have to take care of their equipment. And, again, another note, Ryan Maloney, this is his first year in SM.
That is correct.
He just bought that car kind of during the off season, kind of put it together, went back through it.
Kind of.
It was already put together. It was a built car all ready to go. It had only raced like 5 times last year, and then he told me the name of the person. I can't remember.
Yeah, but I think most importantly, Brian, this is his first year on the national stage.
Correct.
He was the 2024 Mid-Atlantic Road Racing Series SSM champion.
Yeah.
SSM kind of SPEC Miata adjacent. It's built for Zarnecki getting very loose coming through the octopus there. SSM based on the original NA Mazda Miatas, the 1.6 liter Miatas, and they dyno test them, they seal engines and transmissions and what have you. And he had been the cream of the crop really for 2 seasons before making the jump here.
Yeah, I tell you what, Greg, as we pick up that front 5, you can start to see the big, huge gaps. Zarnecki got a little loose, Maloney right on the back. A little bit further back now. Leveroni's moved to 3rd, Gentry to 4th. Cephalo has dropped back. So Cephalo had a little bit of an issue through the Octopus the last lap before. Coming back through again, not getting through the handling on that car. So Cephalo going to drop him all the way back to 5th. He's starting to lose the Leveroni and the Seth Gentry staying nose to tail. We'll pick that up here as they come through. There's Zarnecki, there's Maloney, there's Leveroni and Gentry. Now give it 2 car lengths back to Mark Cephalo. So again, Cephalo having a little bit of a problem, but you talked about Maloney. Again, very first year, 2024 SSM DC region champion. Got a lot of experience, understands these cars really, really well, knows what he needs to do through this. He's run VIR, he's run Watkins Glen, I believe.
Well, he did for his first time up at Watkins Glen, did incredibly well.
Yeah.
Again 2 weeks ago, and had been running in the top 5 there, which given the national stage on the Super Tour, incredible run for a debut on the Super Tour for him.
Again, you would think that some of these drivers, when they come in and you get on a big national stage like this, as in SPEC Miata, with the talent that the drivers are across the country, he is one of the most calmest drivers. There's not a lot that really upsets him or gets him. So I think that helps. And again, when you're running with somebody like a Christian Zarnecki and a Mark Cephalo along with a Nick Leveroni who runs up front, Greg, that helps, right? That let them make the mistake, and that's what Ryan does.
And Brian, look at this as our leaders and even our top 4 coming through turn 1. Cephalo has just really fallen off the pace now. That last time by was almost 3 seconds off the pace.
Steve Ficacci going off. Sorry, Greg. Steve Ficacci going off there in turn number 1, so he's going to drop back a little bit further back, almost into the clutches now of Casey Mosley and Nicole Cooper Cephalo. So again, Ficacci trying to get the most out of it, and that just did not work going through turn 1.
All right, checking back in with Dr. Dom in the 46 machine, who started off at the tail end of the field. He is now up to 12th, so he's picked up 5 positions.
Yeah, he's right on the back end of this battle.
Yeah, exactly.
So Ficacci's dropped all the way back down to Dr. Dom in that number 46. So again, good run there for Dr. Dom after that start.
We'll stay and try and pick up this group now as they come down into the Octopus. Hard under braking into 7. And Luigi's right on the back of Casey Mosley, Nicole Cooper Cephalo, and Steve Ficacci.
Right. So again, these drivers here trying to get the most, and I'm sure they're pushing everything they can. And as warm as it is, as you showed, Greg, right before this race got started, I tell you, it is kind of coming down to tires, I think. In this,
agreed.
You've got to take care of the equipment, and this is what I go back to with Ryan Maloney. He has the ability and knows, because of the race of the car that he used to race before this, it was all about momentum. He knows what it takes from the saving of the equipment to keep that momentum going.
Yeah, indeed. And, so that SSM class, they had run for years on Toyo RA1s.
Dr. Dom running a little wide there. Coming in. Sorry, Greg, cut you off there. But Dr. Dom really getting late on the brakes. But go ahead, go back.
Yeah, so I was going to say that SSM class, they were on the Toyo RA1s, which don't have nearly the grip of the Hoosiers here. But they were also, I'd say, a little bit more consistent on the long run than the Hoosiers when you get to this very greasy pavement. Now, interesting to note, given that, and when you talk about Maloney or Zarnecki having to be able to keep the equipment and keep the tires underneath them, having just come from the Super Tour, Brian, where they have to make one set of tires last through 2 qualifying sessions and 2 races. They don't have that requirement here this weekend, but again, it teaches them that they have to be consistent with their driving, not overdrive the cars, and make sure that they have, if not have the same set of tires still underneath them at the end of a weekend, at least at the end of a race.
Well, it puts everybody on a same playing field, right?
Yeah.
So you have your lower teams that, can't afford to go out and buy all these, but they want to compete, and they want to be able to compete at the top level, and it takes your teams that, has the money and able to make it even. So I think that's a great that's a great thing that I think just started, last year, I think it was.
In SPEC Miata, actually SPEC Miata this season, in SPEC MX-5, it started last season.
Yep. So it kind of brings everybody to a level playing field when it comes down to tires. So then it becomes up to the driver and the handling that you set up on the car. Yeah, so it looks like we
The 2-1.
there is no 2-1. I think it may have been the 51
of Steve McCacci apparently outbraked himself going into turn 1. Oh, actually, wow, this is a big change, Brian. So the word is that it was Seth Gentry who outbraked himself going into turn number 1. And, actually, let me jump. I'm missing all of our shots here. There we go. We'll just stay here for a moment. And ended up taking the escape route on the exit of turn 1, rejoined the field. But we may see the gentleman who started on the outside of the front row really falling very far back in the field here as clock is starting to run down a little bit. We only have 8 minutes remaining out of this 25-minute race.
Yeah, they should be getting ready. They're just now coming out of turn 12 at the start-finish line, and here you go. There you see it. You see where now it is a 3-car battle between them, and now he has actually dropped back. He's not even in the picture because here comes Mark Cephalo now. He is going to move up into 4th. Gentry's going to move all the way back now. That's got to be disheartening there going through. He's going to drop all the way back to 7th. So a terrible time for a mistake from Seth Gentry, who, again, is another driver that's been in SM here for the last couple of years.
Right.
Started out in SSM as well with the DC region, ran pretty consistently there again. So, again, Seth starting to move up again to that national stage as Ryan Maloney and Zarnecki now still nose to tail. Greg and, Nick Leveroni just not going away.
No.
Still hanging in there.
Well, again, Leveroni, a former national champion. Yep. And has been racing spec Miatas for a number of years. And, he is absolutely not going to go away here, but it has essentially turned into a 3-car fight here at the lead. As, Cephalo fell off a couple of laps ago, is now sitting almost 7 seconds back as Cephalo just now going into turn number 7.
Yep.
And then John Jenkins, who started... where did Jenkins start this race, Brian? Jenkins started off the race in 8th position, now up in the 5th.
Yeah.
But it's a distant 5th.
Yep, it's a distant 5th. It's 11 seconds back from the leader, but and then another 4 seconds back to get back to the back bumper of Mark Cephalo. Don't think he's going to be able to get there. I think Mark's going to have enough to finish 4th, but the battle's definitely going to come down to these front 3 from Christian Zarnecki, Ryan Maloney, and Nick Leveroni. And again, they're running in that 133.8, 133.7. So, Greg, they're not that far off their qualifying time.
No.
3/10, but that's a big gap, 3/10 in a Spec Miata class.
Yeah, and we apologize here. We've got one of our cameras that is in a pretty key position, Brian, unfortunately, dealing with some of the heat right now. So we've got a couple gaps in our coverage. But, Brian, I think we can definitely see here is now Maloney takes a quick look to the inside on Zarnecki going in the 5. Zarnecki goes to cover it with no problem. And, it's such a short run there coming through 4 to turn 5. It usually ends up as one passing maneuver.
Right. And again, I'm sure Maloney has got somebody down there on the radio. I do know that I'm sure there's a radio in there. It could be his father, Russ, down there telling him how much time he's got left, in the race. And now here we go, Greg. It looks like Maloney's going to try to make the inside pass there. Not going to be able to do it. They're going to go too wide through the octopus here. That's going to put Leveroni. We're going to see whether or not that's going to stick Ryan Maloney outside and whether or not Nick Leveroni is going to be able to hold on and go with Christian Zarnecki as they come out of the octopus down through there. It does look like Maloney's going to be able to tuck right back in between Zarnecki and Leveroni. Wow, we got a lot of Y's and a lot of I's. We got a lot of
and one long E and one long E.
Right.
But Leveroni had a great opportunity there as Ryan Maloney got pushed out to driver's right coming through the octopus. If he had gotten to the back of Zarnecki's car, was able to tuck underneath that rear bumper, I think he might have had a good opportunity to kind of lock Maloney out, but Maloney did hold strong there and was able to eventually slot back in.
Yeah.
But, the other thing to look at, and that is a slower car, that is a lapped car, that they just got around. I think that was I think that might have been the.
That may have been, was that Gary Jenkins?
Gary Jenkins,
just got
I
around?
think, in the number 70. Yeah, whoops, sorry about that.
You know what, Greg, though? Another development here in this race. Seth Gentry now is dropping all the way back to 14th position as he was pushing with Michael LaMena to try to get by the 07 of Ken Williams. So Seth Gentry really having some challenges here in the late goings of this race with just about 3.5 minutes left.
All right, so let's see if Ryan Maloney tries the same move a second lap in a row. Not going to do it.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, it looked like he might have pushed a little bit wide, and Leveroni was right there to take advantage of it if he had.
Yeah, correct.
I don't think he was going to let that opportunity go 2 laps in a row. So for the moment there, Ryan Maloney holding steady as we complete now lap number 13. Or probably complete lap number 14, starting lap 15, 3 minutes on the clock, Brian, and so likely this lap and one more.
Yeah. You know, the camera angles may not show it here, Greg, but, you know, every time, and I've been watching it out the corner of the window, is every single time Christian Zarnecki comes out of turn number 12, he has that little extra gap. He's got that little bit more drive off the corner there, and that helps him get a little bit of a gap through and pull away from Ryan Maloney along with Leveroni. But then what ends up happening is I think Ryan Maloney and Leveroni are a little bit faster here, Greg, and now you've got Leveroni's going to go into driver's left there, try to make that pass on Ryan Maloney. They were too wide going through that turn.
That's right, and you know that is exactly what Christian Zarnecki wants to see.
Absolutely.
There, as it becomes a fight for second, not a fight for the lead. But really, Leveroni really didn't have much of any other opportunity, and indeed takes advantage. And so, move Nick Leveroni now up in the second place, drop Ryan Maloney in that blue and white number 15 machine back into third. And look at this, Brian. Now, again, this is Spec Miata, so the draft is still at play here.
Oh, yeah.
But Zarnecki managed to open up now a 2.5 car length advantage over our second and third place runners.
And that's really nothing, as you were just talking about with the draft. That's absolutely nothing. They're still feeling a little bit of the draft there off that 44 machine. But again, as I talked about, Zarnecki gets a little bit more of that drive off coming out of turn number 4. Again, cameras may not show it, but when we're looking out our window here, you clearly see it's 1 lap to go here. So if Leveroni and Maloney, wow, if they want to catch Christian Zarnecki, they've got to work together. They cannot attempt to make a pass until they get to the end of this race.
Yeah, and, you know, at this point, though, you know, as being now, and they did not really make anything up on the draft on the front straight, Brian, to Zarnecki, who that last time by was only 0.2 of a second faster than the drivers ahead. You know, it's getting to the point where, and they do close things down, although, wow, the nose of Nick Leveroni's car very loose, gets a lot of push, and I think now Maloney trying to take advantage of that once again, which again might allow Zarnecki to start to gap them once again. Well, see here as they come under braking going into 7, and Leveroni holds off Ryan Maloney now as they go into the Octopus for the very last time.
And this is where Leveroni and Maloney are much better than Zarnecki getting through here. So this is where they really, really need to stay tucked in together. So when they come off this corner right here, they've got to figure out a way to set up Christian Zarnecki if they want to make that pass.
Yeah, indeed, because there's a little bit of a kink just past this camera, but it is essentially, Brian, a straightaway until we get here to turn number 12, and then it is a short run down to the checkered flag as they come out of the final corner onto the front straight, and going to take the win is Christian Zarnecki. Ryan Maloney breaks out of the draft, tries to get by Leveroni at the finish, cannot get it done. Leveroni will finish in second, Maloney third. Mark Cefalo now coming out of the final corner and across the line. He's going to finish just off the podium in fourth. And look at that, John Jenkins made up a ton of ground on Cefalo in the last number of laps. Lapped almost a full second faster than Cefalo, but still finishes fifth. Antonio Abram will come across the line in sixth. Greg Bogart in that yellow number 23 will finish in seventh. I'm sure the folks from the Philadelphia region are mighty happy about that finish. Dr. Dom Domenico Luigi, Brian, worked all the way back up to eighth. He got around that group of Steve Ficacci, of Nicole Cooper Cefalo, of Casey Mosley. It certainly helped that Seth Gentry drop through the field as Seth Gentry finishes up in 12th behind Focacci, Cefalo, and Mosley. And then Michael Lamena finishes lucky 13th. Warren Sackman finishes 14th, and Ken Williams rounds out the top 15. And there he is, Christian Sarnecki on his cool-down lap. But Brian, a great day of racing here at New Jersey Motorsports Park's Thunderbolt Circuit Thunderbolt Raceway. Let's quickly take a look at what we have tomorrow. And again, tomorrow is feature race day. We're going to be getting underway just about 9 a.m. Actually, we're going to be coming on air about 10 minutes to 9 Eastern time tomorrow morning. And it is scheduled feature race day all day for our 5 race groups. Groups 1 through 3, 22 laps, 45 minutes. It doesn't show here, but group number 4 will be 20 minutes, or probably 20 laps or 45 minutes. And then SPEC Miata, a great race today, another great race, I'm sure, tomorrow, 22 laps or 45 minutes in length. But that is where we stand as our racers come back to the pits. And they start to strategize, Brian, on how they're going to make their day tomorrow that much better.
Yeah, they're going to have to, some of these drivers are going to end up, again, we saw mistakes, right? We saw a few drivers with some mistakes early on that could have been up in that top 3, top 5 battle there towards the end. When we get to tomorrow going 22 laps, and I think we went, 17?
17 today.
17, so we're going to go 5 more there. You got to take care of the equipment. You got to take care of these tires.
That's right. All right, so that wraps things up for our coverage today here from Summit Point. See, I did it again. From New Jersey Motorsports Park. We want to thank you all for joining us. Make sure, if you haven't done so already, go ahead, click that thumbs up button, smash that thumbs up button, click subscribe on both the DC region and new this weekend, Brian, on the South Jersey region YouTube channel. And make sure to join us tomorrow morning starting at 8:50 a.m. for feature race day here for the Fay Teal Memorial Jersey Devil Majors from New Jersey Motorsports Park's Thunderbolt Circuit. Of course, we want to thank our broadcast partners helping you bring that coverage, Willing and Able Racing, as well as Courage Motorsport. So for Brian Donati, I'm Greg Ginsburg, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.
What does it take to be America's largest Corvette dealer? At Ciocca, it starts with our premier selection of new and certified Corvettes on the lot or custom ordered with new vehicles arriving every day. Add in the country's most experienced team of specialists to help you find the perfect ride, along with the confidence that you're doing business with a company that shares your passion for excellence. Find out more at CioccaCorvette.com, or better yet,
Come to America's largest Corvette dealership, Ciocca Corvette in Atlantic City.
Cornerstone Financial Advisors is a family-owned and operated full-service financial planning firm in Haddon Heights, New Jersey. Advising clients throughout the country for over 33 years, certified financial planners Michael and Shauna Lamena offer a comprehensive financial planning service including retirement investment, life insurance, and estate planning to both individuals and businesses. Every plan is detailed and specifically tailored to either the business owner or the individuals they specialize in, putting you on the right track. Give them a call for a free, no-obligation consultation at 856-546-6505 or visit them on the web at cornerstonecfp.com. That's cornerstonecfp.com.
Willing and Able Racing offers top-quality spec race car rentals with full setup and repair services, including trackside support for SCCA, NASA, VRG, and other organizations' road race, time trials, and track day events. Their spec racer Ford specialists and each of their Gen 3 machines sports a SATAV sequential transmission and a data acquisition system. Also offering spec Miata rentals, Willing and Able is currently taking reservations for the remainder of the Mid-Atlantic Road Racing Series season. For more information, email Willing and Able at rent@WNARacing.com, see them on Instagram at WNA Racing, or visit their website at WNARacing.com. Willing and Able would like to thank all the volunteers this weekend who've graciously donated their time so that we may race.
Located right next door to the racetrack in Millville's Executive Airport Complex, the Glasstown Brewing Company has been the place to celebrate race wins with a cold one since 2013. As the only microbrewery here in Cumberland County, Glasstown cans and kegs close to 20 different beers on a rotating basis. Share a flight with friends inside or outside at one of the mini picnic tables where the history of flight is just feet away. And don't forget to buy a six-pack or a growler for the house. Glasstown is open Tuesday and Wednesday from 2 until 8, Thursday through Saturday from noon until 9, and Sunday from noon until 7. To find out more, visit their website at glasstownbrewery.com or on Instagram at Glasstown Brewing.
Picture your perfect garage. How many cars are in there? Great, great. Now picture reality. How many cars can you actually have? Me too. With SCCA Club Spec, one car becomes your daily, your track car, your autocross car, even your time trials car. S197 Mustang if you like V8s and torque, NC Miata if you like compact and agile. SCCA Club Spec, spirited dailies, competitive race cars. Learn more at scca.com.
Looking to level up your motorsport game? At Courage Motorsport, we've got everything you need, from high-performance parts, tires, and safety gear, to car rentals, expert driving instruction, and even our own Courage racing gear. Whether you're a beginner, a pro, or looking to kickstart your motorsport career with training in both the business of racing and securing sponsorships, we've got you covered. Check out our gear, grab a shirt, and represent your passion. Email us at trackready@couragemotorsport.com or visit couragemotorsport.com and get ready to hit the track.